Yo, what's going on, good people? It is Talk Back Tuesday. It's been pushed back a little bit. Your boy had some errands to run, couldn't get here on our normal time. It's all crazy anyway because the World Cup is happening. I got the match going with Norway and Iraq. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see the first half, so I didn't get to see Holland's 2 goals, but we'll talk about it. But as always, this show is your show. This is the opportunity for you to come on screen and have your say, whether you come on camera or just being on your mic. Obviously, cameras prefer, but if all you can do is just your mic, we just want to hear from you. It's an opportunity for you to come on and have your say. So we look forward to it. It's like I said, it's the World Cup, so it'll probably be a pretty World Cup heavy edition, but there's still I think the transfer window is technically open now, so we can talk transfers, we can talk what that's going to look like for City, so and for any other team. So you don't have to be a City fan to hopefully have a good time here. You're more than welcome. So we look forward to everybody. So thank you for those that are here. And let's get into it. As always, Trev is here with us. So, Trev, I'm going to bring you on screen. Big
Hello.
up, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Yeah. The talking point from the Norway game is Iraq could have had an equalizer, and it would have been probably goal of the tournament.
Oh,
but
yeah?
The guy was millimeters over. So it actually hit the top of the net on the dip.
Ooh, on the backside, of the
Yeah. So it hit the top of the net as it was dipping.
So if it would have been 3 inches further out, it probably would have came underneath the bar.
Yeah. And he was way out of the box as well. Well, maybe on the edge of the box. Incredible shot. Everyone thought it had gone in.
So Holland has 2 goals. Yep. I saw that. Tell me, how does he look? Yes, he got 2 goals, right? And I don't want to take that away from him, but how is he looking?
Looks great. Looks fit. Looks enthusiastic. Noosa, great service.
Okay.
I'm quite impressed with Noosa. It's a shame we've already got a great left winger.
That's fair.
I'm not one of those guys who gets excited about, a 1 World Cup experience and then, we should immediately sign him.
I've heard people talking about him before, though, so it wouldn't be a case of he only showed up at the World Cup and then therefore we went and got him.
Yeah, but, we already got a left winger in Doku. So if we're getting rid of Savinho, I don't know whether either of them. I've seen Doku turn up on the right and do a good job. But I don't know. I don't want to get too excited about someone I've just seen in 1 game. But he looks good. He looks good enough. He's playing for Leipzig, so
so Noosa. So I'm looking at FotMob. They gave Wolf, the left back, a assist, and then Holland has 2 goals. So I don't know how he scored his 2 goals. How did he score them?
I didn't see the second one because I was making this here cup of tea, but the first one was a header, and he got himself into the right position, and just boom, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, no, hang on. No, that might have been the second goal, and I saw it on a replay.
How is
the ball across the area, and he ran onto it? Yeah, it was typical City style goal.
Okay.
Ball in from the left across the box, and he just got ahead of a defender. Yeah.
Are they doing so? One of the things about I feel like he could be the golden boot if they go deep enough. That's the only question, right? I don't know if they'll go deep enough, but he's got to get service. So in this case, it's Odegaard. How is Odegaard as far as getting the ball to Holland? I feel like he had a down year. He got a little bit of criticism with Arsenal. Is he creative enough? Again, this game, Iraq, I don't know, but future matches, and I got to look and see who's in their group, to be honest with you. Because France is in their group, right? So France and who did France play? France played Senegal, right? So, yeah. So I feel like he it's going to be him and Mbappe, because Mbappe got two too, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Luke and I did a preview of the World Cup and All City Players show on Mancunian Way, which is not that, it's kind of serious, but it's very light-hearted as well, because, you know, we understand that this is an absurd game sometimes. So yeah, we both have the sense of the absurd about it. But we talked about this, and what I said was that, well, first of all, I looked up how many goals normally gets it, and it's 8 goals.
I'll say it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's 8 is typical, right? So a hat trick here, and I reckon he could probably get 1 in the other 2 games and put him on 5 if they go through. He's not far off it. Do you know what I mean? He's not without a chance, despite being in an unfancied team.
And you definitely expect, especially if they go on to win this, that would position them well to move on to the next round.
Yeah.
Now, again, you know, going up against one of the potential powers of the game, maybe they don't go beyond that. I don't know. But again, you give him a puncher's chance because he can put goals away, right? So
absolutely,
there's always a chance for a team like that. We haven't seen, and I didn't even check. I should have asked this question. Did Oscar Bob even make the team? It does not look like he did.
Not in the pit.
No, he's not even in the squad. Oh, there he is. There he is at the very bottom. Sorry, I lied. He is there.
Yeah.
All right, good. So he at least made the team. Again, he's not a City player anymore, but you spent so many years watching him and rooting for him. You want him to do well. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, I care about him. I still care. You know, I mean, I still care about Bernardo.
Yeah.
You know, you can't let them go. The same with Kev. You know, I just want him to do well because he's Kev and I love him.
Yeah. Big up, Darsh. Appreciate you. Appreciate, again, for everyone. Smash the likes, subscribe. Appreciate that. But also don't forget that Samaritan's link. Again, this is for anyone and everyone that may be struggling, or if you know someone that is struggling with mental health. If you're in the UK, this is an opportunity for you to click that link and get more information about how they can help. So big up to Darsh for continuing to spread that message and to give them space for everyone to bring attention to everybody and awareness. So appreciate that. Big up to Louis watching the game, wanted to see how the game ends, understand that. Kind of doing this kind of watch alongy, but kind of watching it on one screen, but just talking here anyway. So big up to you and big up to Marla. Appreciate you. Yes, he's on the bench. Thank you. Thanks again for everybody that's being here. Again, I know during the World Cup and games actually going on live, it's always going to be difficult to do 2 things at once, especially if you're watching games on your computer and you need to be on your computer to do the YouTube thing or whatever. So I appreciate you wherever you are. Thank you so much.
It's interesting watching
M113.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's interesting watching Norway because the weaknesses are so glaringly obvious. Like Sorloth is not this level of player.
And Sorloth is the other attacker, right?
Yeah, and he's just, you know, wasted chances. He's out of position often. I'm not having a go at the guy. He's just, when you compare the excellent players that Norway have, the others are kind of leagues below, you know, maybe a championship kind of level, you know. I'm hoping that some of them raise their game, you know, because I want Erling to do well. And I'm well disposed towards Norway.
My dream, and this isn't likely to happen because we didn't win. If we would have won the league and he would have taken Norway out of the group, you know, maybe even knock off a team in the round of 32, would have maybe gave him a outside shot for a Ballon d'Or, but he's not going to win it. He deserves. It's hard to say.
He deserved it in the treble season.
Yeah, exactly.
They gave it to
didn't
Messi.
give it to, exactly,
and nobody knows why.
Yeah, and you can't just take for granted that a player is going to get back in that in that position. So we'll see. But big up to I thought they were going to get one there
Yeah, me
on
too.
that corner kind of in swinger.
And we're watching it at the same time. I was watching Luke's watch along from Not in My Lifetime, and he was a minute ahead. Oh no, well, a good 15, 20 seconds ahead of me. And you know how that works, right?
Yes.
It's like when my brother's at the match, we're doing WhatsApp all the time. He now knows not to celebrate on WhatsApp messages because I'm half a minute behind.
So that's always the issue with did I lose? Did I lose my stream? What happened?
You're frozen. I can hear you though.
Am I frozen here?
Yeah.
Or just okay? So my internet must be messed up because my
let me check you on YouTube. Okay, you're not frozen on YouTube. You just
my
frozen
stream went out on
are you back?
Watching the match. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I've been complaining about my internet. I'm gonna switch it to a different provider. But right now, the way it's all set up, I'd have to move a bunch of wires around, and it just takes a little bit of time. So I will switch that and hopefully have a better experience for folks, better quality. But we'll see. I don't even know what I was going to say a few minutes ago.
We were talking about the difference in quality.
Oh, no, yeah. So I was going to say that's always the issue when we do a watch along with Shades of Blue, because there could be 4 of us on all at 4 different times, and then you're trying to stop your stream to try to catch up. Appreciate it, Marla. Thank you for letting me know that it's normal now. I apologize to everyone that's out there. Again, it's not my fault, but I want it to be good. But yeah, we could have 4 people going, and each person at a different point in the stream or whatever. And so we will try to get it to where everybody's at the same time, but it's difficult. And so trying not to react in the moment when something happens. If we score a goal, or even worse, God forbid, we give up a goal. If we score a goal, I can probably hold it together a little bit better. But if we give up one, I'm just like, and then everybody's like, wait, what happened? What happened? Because you could be ahead or you could be behind. And so we tried to say, oh, we'll try to keep, but at some point you can't maintain it. So it's just like, enjoy it. We'll all catch up eventually.
I have to mute FOTMob, the app, because that will do cheers, or it goes, hey, oh. So I have to mute that during City games. The only time I don't do it is if we're like winning by a goal and there's half a minute or a minute on the clock, and then I'll put it on. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm managing my expectations a bit there. So I know I can relax. If the final whistle goes on FOTMob, I'm like, okay, we've won. That's it. It's good. I once tried to sync it up because I got so annoyed with the Man United and Liverpool dominated co-commentators.
Oh, yes. Which is why people do watch-alongs, because they don't want to hear everybody else talk.
Right. So I tried to get it synced up with the City app. I just gave up. And I've got a lot of experience of syncing audio. But I just thought, no, even less than a second difference,
it gets it out of sync again.
You're out. So you just can't do it.
Sweet.
And I'm hoping, I've been on a mission for a year now. I think there should be this law in commentary that there can't be. Well, it's mainly about red pundits, because it's Man United and Liverpool who dominate. I made a video about it and showed the actual numbers. And there's something like 18 ex-Man United and ex-Liverpool players who are commonly on co-commentary and commonly in the studio before, during, and after games. Okay. And it's disproportionate. It's like ridiculously disproportionate. City had 2, now, I don't want our ex-players commentating or co-commentating on our games. I don't need them to do that. I want them on before and I want them on afterwards. Fine. right? Because I can choose whether to watch that. But I don't want them co-commentating. I don't need my hand held by one of our ex-players when a live game is on. But what I also don't want is someone we're competing with on our games. So I don't want ex-Liverpool players, because they can't be dispassionate and objective. And I definitely don't want United players on co-commentary. And yet that's what we get most often.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which is why I like Nedum. Nedum is really good because I feel like he is objective, but when even with his objectivity, if the rest of the people around him go too far anti-City, he will say enough to bring hey, hold on, that's not real, whatever. He'll say enough to kind of defend the club, but you shouldn't have to. Ooh, you almost got a goal there. You shouldn't need to defend the club or feel like you have to defend the club because people are taking the piss. So
the thing is, he is the only reason to watch the ESPN football show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because the rest of them are way out of touch. They retired, and I'm sorry, I'm their age, but they retired from playing the game too long ago. I have another short video of Nedum Manoa. There's two clips from one long interview he did about 3 years ago. And Nedum was very honest. He wasn't naming anybody, but he was very honest about the state of punditry. And he said that what people don't realize is that these guys retired so long ago. The game has changed so much. And he says, and I only retired 5 years ago. So that's when it went out. He'd been retired 5 years. He said, even for me, the game's changed so much. The difference between me and them is I like it. They don't. They don't like it. They don't like the modern game. They're not in love with it.
So let me ask you this, because, well, it's one thing to not like. So there are things that you can like or dislike certain aspects of the modern game, I guess. But if you're always just play out of the back, that's whatever. That's silly. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you a quick question. I read today that I think it was Ben Jacobs that put this tweet out, and maybe you know where I'm going to go when I say it. But Ben Jacobs put out a tweet that says that Donald Trump will be allowed to participate in the trophy lift with whatever club or whatever team or country wins it, which is what we saw him do at the Club World Cup. It felt like at the Club World Cup, it was a miscommunication. It was an accident. But now it feels like, no, this is intentional. We're allowing him to do this. I know in American sports, let's be honest, the owners are often the ones that get the trophy and they lift the trophy and then they hand it to somebody else. They touch it first. The owners do. But that's completely contrary to what happens in the rest in football. In football, the club captain, the captain gets the trophy. They then lift it and then they celebrate with their players. The owner is nowhere to be found, at least until much later on. How does that change? Or how does that make you feel as someone who I'm going to guess is probably a little bit more traditional in that sense? Do you care?
I'm just wary of this vulgar narcissist. And he just does vulgar narcissist things.
And I understand that, right? And I agree with you. But let's take him off the table for a moment, because that sways the conversation too much. Regardless of who it was, if it's the president or I shouldn't say president, if it's the, no, they hand out the medals. I'm thinking about Prince William, or
that's where they belong.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. They just sit up there, but they don't touch the trophy itself.
No, and they don't get up on the podium and celebrate with the team. Nobody does that. I wasn't trying to be political, but
no. I just. Because I wanted to know if it would change your opinion.
Objectively, the man is a narcissist. Everything has to be about him. He would be a narcissist if he wasn't the president. It's got nothing to do with his politics.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think he has any politics except what gratifies himself.
I was going to say whatever gives him more power and makes him, but we won't go there. We won't go there.
but that's what narcissists do. If you got a narcissist in your life, look, stop playing their game. The only way to win is to not play, right? Because they are just incredibly manipulative people, and they are toxic, and you need to get away from them. That's a message to anyone with a narcissist in their life. They will have isolated you already from your family and friends. They will make you question everybody you meet as though they're suspicious. And that's to isolate you so that only they control you. And they are your only reference point for what is reality. And then they create their own reality where they are grandiose and amazing. Yeah. That's how it works. Get out of there. It's the only way to win. You know, forget the sunk cost fallacy. You know, you've already put years into them and they will change. No. They drip feed you praise, and it gets harder and harder to get it because they permanently move the goalposts. That's another subject.
Yeah. Marla has strong feelings as well, looking more and more like the guy that was German president and started the Second World War. Again, you know, I don't know that I disagree, but we won't spend too much time on him per se. But I think there are some norms that I can
bring in another perspective, and I'm not here to promote my own videos, but it
big up to Alan too. Big up, Alan. Glad to have you, sir.
I'm not here to promote my own videos, but I made one about Marinakis today, in which I was trying to explain to people how that sort of wealth changes people, and what
I'd like to try it. If I'm going to be honest, but give me all the money and tell me how it changes me. I'd like to find out.
No. This was in terms of, because I've been in the proximity of such people. You know, I had a friend who was the captain of one of the biggest super yachts in the world. Do you know what I mean? And he wouldn't ever talk about his bosses. He's worked on 4 different ones. He wouldn't ever talk about his bosses, but he was happy to talk about rich people and their behavior and what they like, which is what I was interested in. And when you are so rich that purchasing something means nothing to you, it loses, you know, things lose all their utility. What do they want? And what they want is glamour. They want approval. They want to be appreciated. They want to be recognized. And they want the intangible. And that's why so many get involved in sports, because a Stanley Cup or a Super Bowl or an FA
bring
Cup
those up in
or
just a
a
minute.
Premier League or a Champions League, these are almost validation for them, because they made their money out of widgets, or, you know, making numbers dance on a spreadsheet, you know, making the arrow go up in an investment. You know, there's no glamour in that. There's no like, wow, you know, it's not like being an actor or a rock star or a professional athlete. There is no glamour associated in how most of them make their money. And so the association with glamour is what they want. And that would partially explain why Trump wants to be on the podium lifting the trophy, because he's made his money out of shady real estate and screwing people over and not paying his contractors and conning his adoring fans with NFTs and telephones that they paid for and will never receive, and all that stuff, you know. So
we're gonna move on, because I don't want to spend any more time talking about Trump. Right? What, like him, hate him, don't really matter. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to spend any time. I want to focus on the football. And I think the unfortunate part is, in the build up to the World Cup, the conversation was everything except the football. And now that the football games are actually happening, now that matches are actually being played, I want to put as much focus there as is possible. So, Alan, I want to hear from you real quick. Tell me, I assume you've been watching the matches as you can, depending upon availability and all that.
Obviously, there's one on upstairs at the moment, which is the Iraq and Norway game.
So, what's been your favorite moment in the World Cup so far?
Well, I went to the Imperial to watch the Brazil game. Okay, when there was some Brazilian dancers in the pub, which was very nice.
Okay, there you go. So, there you go.
Girls in their outfits going around everybody at halftime, and that was one of my highlights, which is fantastic.
Understood.
No wrong with that, Al.
Exactly. So that was good, and obviously, and then the Scotland game came on, and the pub was full of jocks everywhere. And that was good fun, to be fair. And obviously they won, so that was great. Then obviously the Australian game, was on, and all the pubs in Melbourne where I am, every single pub in the square was just heaving full of Aussies watching the football. The very sad part of it was that it was on 2:00 in the afternoon here, right, on Sunday, and everyone was watching it, but they played an AFL game, two of them at the same time. 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
exactly.
MLS used to do that as well, but I think this year
the thing is the AFL are paranoid about
Oscar Bob about to come on
soccer and the way it's perceived, because they're scared stiff of football taking over big time,
as opposed to rugby, I assume.
Well, the AFL is Aussie rules taking over from. So they're scared stiff of it. So the spread was, and it was a St Kilda v GWS game, and there was about 2,000 there. It was hilarious, and everyone was watching. And the captains of both teams said they should have let us watch the Socceroos, which obviously they have nicknames for everything over here for their sporting teams.
Yeah,
and that was quite funny. Obviously, tomorrow morning, our game's on at 6 a.m. So I'll be in the pub for 5:30 in the Imperial for the game. We're going to go in there with the Man City Supporters Club. I've booked a room upstairs. So we're
when you said our game is on tomorrow, my mind immediately went to Australia, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we play you guys. How are you playing tomorrow?" And I forgot that you are English.
Yeah, I'm English, but I emigrated in 2007 to Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I'm English first. I've got an Australian passport, but I'll be honest with you, I'm English first, and I'm a Manc. So it's we've got our game, and we've got a room upstairs booked for the game, which will be quite nice. So you'll have fans from all over different teams. So
what time does that come on for you there? You said 6 a.m.
6 a.m. for our time tomorrow morning. It's on. So you're in Thailand, are you, mate?
Yeah. Yeah. You can take the lad out of Manchester, but you can't take the Manchester out of the lad.
Well, it's the same here.
So what time are the matches for you? Like, what time is it in Thailand right now?
Okay, it's 6:37 a.m. But I'm an early riser. I'm normally up at 5. I was up very early this morning because we did Oil Brothers. Then went to bed for an hour, back to bed for an hour, and then I got up because I wanted to watch, the Norway game, and then your show's on, so I wanted to come on. But the games are just not on at a great time, but they are a part of my game day ritual for European games. They're on at a similar inconvenient time.
Yeah.
Like European games, depending on whether it's the 6 or 7 hour time difference because of the clock changing over, will be 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a ritual for that. I'll go to bed at like 7 p.m., something like that,
I do the same, because when the Premier League games are on, they're on at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So on a Saturday night, I'll go to bed reasonably early, get some sleep, and then get up and watch the games. But I go to the pub because I can watch it here, but I choose to go to the Supporters Club because it's
you're 3 hours behind me, so I don't have it so bad. Like the midday kickoffs for me are fantastic, even though I'm not a fan of the midday kickoff, but they're 6 or 7 p.m. The 3 o'clock kickoffs at 10 p.m. Or 11 p.m. No big deal. But the European games, the nighttime games, cup games, and so on, that's 2 or 3 a.m. all of them. But I have a routine like you that accommodates for it.
Yeah, that's right. So someone has just scored upstairs. Who scored?
Yeah, number 4.
Oh, no.
It's number 4 for.
They've got runes instead of names. Okay, I can read.
At first I thought it was going to be Holland.
Norway scored again. So
Norway scored. They got it was number 4. I can't read his back of his shirt. Ostgaard, something like that.
Ostgaard.
So he just got scored a header on a set piece corner. So big up to him.
Yeah.
So that gives them a 3-1. It gives them a 3-1 advantage. They've already started making the substitutions. They had 3 subs after the hydration break, I think it was. So
trying to say that Haaland fouled a defender, but he didn't.
Oh,
the
defender was holding him, and so he shook him off.
Yes,
but
Hill just went fuck off.
Yeah. and he wasn't even in the play. The defender wasn't even in the play, so there's no way that they should try to take that off the board or anything like that.
But they will try.
Yeah. He's a towering header.
Who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
So, again, you can't read anything into one game.
No, you can't.
But was it Germany that beat? It was 7.
Yeah.
So they got a bunch of goals, but again, you got to think about the competition. Again, this being an extended or expanded World Cup, there's more teams in. A lot of teams making their first ever appearance. Some teams are trying to understand, how are they going to play? Are you going to come out here and just play to win, play to have fun, or are you going to try to, buckle down and nick a 1-0 or just go for a 0-0 draw? If you just come out and play, you're probably going to get battered, but your fans are going to enjoy it more, whatever. So we'll see. But so they looked really good. Spain went and got a 0-0. So you would expect them to. You would have expected them to win or that game, but they didn't win the first match with the last time they won it either. So I don't know that you can take too much out of it. But I'm gonna go. If you ask me who's going to win, I'm going to say it's probably France. They just have so much.
They're stacked. They are stacked. You've got 2 or 3 teams. They're literally they're so England won't. To me, England will get to about the quarters.
See, it depends on how everything lines up and who ends up, what the matchups are, because matchups make.
We don't as a tournament and we play against good sides. We don't keep the ball well enough for me. We're a transition team. We've not got possession-based players in our midfield. I just don't think.
Big up, Ash. Big up, Governor. Appreciate you guys being around. So I think England. I think England definitely has a chance. It just depends. So they scored. They scored quite a few goals in their last kind of a warm-up match. So if they can score goals, then I think they definitely have a chance.
They've got to keep Kane fit. They've got to keep Kane fit though.
Because we don't have goals from anywhere else, Alan. You're right.
Because if you don't get Harry Kane scoring, then you're hoping that Ollie Watkins is going to score.
We just need to find some goals from somewhere else in that team.
Because concerns me. Our defence is very, very shaky. Centre halves especially. We're having to rely on John Stones, who's only played 4 games this season.
But I read, and so let's talk about it. There was a quote that said that basically he's been healthy most of the season, or at least since I think it was January, February timeframe. He's been healthy pretty much since February.
So why has he not been playing?
But Pep hasn't played him. So there's the question: why
did tell him why?
So let's talk about it. Tell me.
Yeah, no. In the whole interview, he said that he had a good conversation with Pep and he understood why he wasn't being played. The journalists don't big up that bit of what he said. The journalists pick up the bad news for City and divisive shit, and they're just flying around ex-City players like vultures now, trying to find something that they can spin as.
So what did he
loyal to Pep? I can't remember now. I'd have to pull it up, but it's there if you read further on into where
I think the reality is, I mean, quite honestly,
he understood, and there was no problem.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you have people who have been playing and playing well, it's hard to take them out of the lineup. And let's just be honest, down the stretch of this season, it was effectively Gahey and Kuzanov as the combination. I believe, if you're asking me my opinion, I have no way to prove this, right? My opinion is that John Stones isn't the only person that was healthy and didn't get played. I believe Ruben Diaz was probably healthy and didn't get played because Pep, he had what he thought was working and he stuck with it until it didn't work. And then you saw them come back in for that last match or two. So we'll see. Marla says, if thinking about England, if Reece James get injured, England will have Spence or Chalobah. Did Chalobah? I know there's conversation about Chalobah coming on or being brought in because of Tino Livramento, but is he on? Was he in the original squad? Come on, Holland. Oh.
No, Chalobah has been brought in because
Livramento, right?
He's flying over.
Yeah. So
I got the
Reece James, in my opinion, Reece James is definitely, he's one of the best right backs in the world. He has the flexibility. Exactly. And this is the issue. It's the same thing with John Stones. If you're not healthy and if you're not available, it doesn't matter how good you are. It just doesn't. And that's been his issue, just like it's been John Stones' issue. And so, we'll see.
I've got the whole Stones quote if you want me to read it out.
Just before you do, big up to Apollo. The Apollo, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted more Man City games last season, 100%. And that comes down to a lot of things, a lot of factors. The manager, Pep Guardiola, what was going on. But that's something I can't dwell on now. I think it's always difficult to pick an 11. And I said this to him. And he knew how much I wanted to play and wanted to be there. You can look at it in so many ways. And the thing that bothers me about it is that he's in the England squad. There's a World Cup going on. And he's not the first City player to be asked about Man City. He's not at our club anymore. This is a World Cup. You should be asking him about the World Cup. You should be asking him about the England team and what's going on there. And why are you talking about our club? Because you're shit stirring. You're looking to clip him up, saying something negative about Pep. And it's happened with our other players as well. They just won't leave us alone. It's the World Cup. It's the biggest sporting event in the world. Our team are there, and John Stones is playing for that team. Ask him about the World Cup. What are you asking him about Man City for? It's a closed season. There is no season.
Let's face it, Trev. The English media and press are without doubt,
by the way,
without doubt, the worst media and press in the world. They're toxic,
and that's
really
ITV.
Shocking.
That's ITV. An internet. Our biggest kind of network, right? We got the BBC and ITV. At one time, we only had 4 channels. But ITV have all the regional
I remember that in the US when we only had like the 4 or 5 main channels, the ABC, CBS, NBC, and then you had maybe 1 or 2 more. But
over here they've got the SBS doing the World Cup because they historically did it.
So let me ask this question, because over here it's a big conversation about the hydration breaks. When there's a hydration break,
Ad break.
Does it go to a full commercial? Does it just do like a split screen? How does it do it?
Full commercial.
On the BBC, no. ITV, yes, because ITV would put a commercial on because
I was going to say here in the US, Fox, which is what has the hosting rights, they definitely have gone to full-blown ads. And actually the first match, I think they didn't get back in time. So you missed some of the play because they were late getting back. And so now they've been making sure that they hold the match until they're back. So it's crazy.
It's quite funny. So it's quite funny because my mate Leo is from North London. I was on the phone to him, and the first hydration break for the first game came on. And he went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, it's a fucking ad break." He says, "It's Americans trying to make a 4-quarter game," which they hinted at ages ago. And I started laughing because
let me ask this question:
English people don't want that, don't get it.
An English commentator actually said yesterday during a game, that's the end of the first quarter. And and he wasn't being funny. He was just in that language. And he got absolute pelters for it. And so he should.
Yeah. So let me ask this question, right? So yes, it is a change to the game as a whole. When normally it's 45 straight minutes, then you get a break and 45 more, and you get certain number of subs, and we've seen them go. And you all maybe, I don't know, you might go back to before there were 3 subs or whatever. I don't know how long ago that was, but 3 subs, and then now they made that 5. And it's stuck around. I think 5 was around the COVID time, and they just kept it. Yeah. Is this one of those things that you think that has snuck into the game, and once it's allowed, it's going to be around for good, or is this a one-off? And then secondly,
it's a one-off because it's America.
Okay, so you don't think they'll do this anywhere else? Well, I mean, they did hydration breaks at Brazil, or not Brazil.
For about 60 seconds.
So this is what I was going to say. I do think it's one thing to have like you said, 1 minute, even 2 minute hydration break. To go all the way to a commercial, make it 3 minutes feels over the top for me. But I want to ask this question, because in a competition like this, where it's not just about the game on the pitch per se, but my ability to advance depends on what happens in other matches as well. So if one game has a hydration break because it's hot, those players get hydration breaks, but other matches don't because maybe it's not as hot. Does it create a competitive advantage or imbalance in any way?
It absolutely does. But
so is it better to just say everybody gets it, even if it's not hot? Everybody gets it so that it's competitively the same. Or would you prefer that they only give it in matches where it's actually hot enough to deserve it?
The biggest football problem that it's creating is we all know how critical momentum is in a game, especially when you're 1-0 down and you built up 2 or 3, you put 2 or 3 moves together where you're beginning to get on top. If you put a 3-minute break in there, all your momentum disappears. If you stop for a quick water break, I think the average was 45 seconds. Then you're probably not going to lose that momentum. But 3 minutes is a restart.
And then it's
after a period.
And we saw it all throughout the, even in the Premier League or even in the Club World Cup. It becomes it's an opportunity for coaches to pull the team together, and it becomes a coaching thing. So again, it is definitely a change. It's not one that I don't think is necessary. I don't know that I want to see. I don't want to see 4 quarters. I want to see the game what it is. I don't want to see them go to ads, because once you start putting ads in, then you'll never get them out. I want it to be what it is and what it has been. More, I guess in that sense, I'm more of a traditionalist, even if I'm not a fan that's been watching the sport for 20, 30 years. That's not my story, but I still feel like I'm probably more of a traditionalist just because I'm probably old enough to be just outside.
The thing is that when people of my age or Alan's age seem to be resistant to change, people will ascribe that to our age.
Governor says it will never happen in England. That will never happen in England. And those are probably famous last words, because the moment you say never, it's coming. They are going to bring this to England because teams like money.
The only thing is, you don't need to in England. It's not hot. It's never hot.
You might need a
they had hydration breaks at the end of this season.
Right.
The last 2 or 3 matches, they had hydration breaks.
Yeah, not for 5 minutes.
No, definitely not. Trev, or no, it was Alan, I think, who said that England couldn't keep the ball. Curtis disagrees with you. Can I just say this whole thing about England not being able to keep the ball is nonsense. It's a style, systemic issue. Southgate set us up to counterattack. Bellingham, Rice, and Anderson can keep the ball. He says, look at how many City/Liverpool players were in the squad over the last 8 years, teams who usually have a lot of the ball. So he thinks that they actually can keep the ball. They're just choosing not to. Big up, Martin. How you doing, sir?
Not against the good sides in warm weather. That's why you're picking Rashford, and on the right side you're picking Saka. You're not keeping the ball. You're just not.
Interesting. Martin, what's been your favorite moment at the World Cup so far? I don't know how much of it you've been watching, but what's your favorite moment at the World Cup so far?
Good night.
You don't like any of it. Huh? He's like, I don't like any of it. England haven't played yet, so I don't care.
I've not watched any of it, and I don't intend to.
Really?
Not a fan. I've got a question for you, Terry.
Sure.
I've had enough of football through the bloody season. I've got enough for 10 months of it. I don't need 8 weeks here, everyone bitching and moaning.
Is it just because of, I assume you watch most other World Cups. So is it just because of all the noise around this one, or is it something else?
I've not watched the World Cup for about the last 3 or 4.
Oh, interesting.
I've no interest. It's find international football boring.
Okay. I mean that's fair.
It's political. It's silly. Not pick the right team. It's favoritism. Everything I hate about.
There is some of that because again,
everything I hate about football.
Sitting at home. So Trev, you were going to ask me a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. It'll take a minute, but it's worth hearing. So my belief about City's growth, this exponential growth we've seen is America has been a huge part of that with all the kids. We talked about that before with all the kids with the Haaland shirts on, because celebrity culture is a way that people choose their teams in America, and I like that. Right? I got no problem with it. We're born into it. Us Manx, we're born into a red or blue family. There are outliers, but typically that's how we became City fans. Sure. We didn't get to choose. Your dad would have battered you if you decided that you were going to be a red.
Yeah, but I was a City fan because of my dad, and then my granddad before that was a City fan.
Yeah,
so I had no choice.
So we don't choose, right? And don't get me wrong, we do intermarriages.
Sure.
And they're quite fun. And the kids usually end up, supporting who their dad wanted because
dad takes them to the matches.
Well, no, until very recently, if you asked, like, say 20 years ago, if you asked a British woman about football, it wasn't cool for them then, and they just say 11 millionaires kicking the ball around. Stupid, right? But women now are like very groovy about football. They love football. They've always loved football.
Yeah.
That's not true. 20 years ago, women did not like football in England. I'm sorry, girls, but it's a fact, right? Because I was there. I was married to these people. These people were in my family, and I love them all.
See you, Alan.
You didn't like football like you do now, let's say 25 years ago, but you all like football now, and I just love that too. I think it's brilliant, right? So, but in terms of, you inherit your team. You're born into a red or blue family. Elsewhere, you choose. So, and someone posted this really interesting question, and I knew it was an American fan because they said, what was the moment that made you realize that you would be a citizen for life? Right? Mm-hmm. Now, that question makes no sense to me or Martin because we're born into it. Doesn't mean we're better. It's just a different route into supporting a team. Right?
Sorry. Pause for a second. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but this is funny to me because Governor said, well, they could have a break for Bovril. And I don't know if I said that correctly or not, but because Alan said it's not hot, so you don't need a break. It is freezing cold, so maybe you can get a break and get
Bovril and a pie from a bloke with a tray of pies.
I hear this is just like a broth. It's like a soup kind of.
It's beef broth. Yeah.
Bloody gravy.
Gravy, there you go.
Yeah, it's gravy, but not thick. It's not thickened. It's just a watery gravy, but it's yummy. Keeps you warm on a cold day. So American fans choose. And American fans, over the last decade of our success, have overwhelmingly choosing Man City. And when we look at all the stats about City...
Oh, wait, did we get... Oh, no. Again, I'm trying to look on my computer, and
me too.
They got another goal. It wasn't Holland, but that gives them a 4-1. 4-1 to Norway. So they are absolutely going through.
All in. Haaland heads it back over. And who is there? Yeah, but Haaland gets an assist. That's good. So when we look at the stats, the viewing figures are really interesting, and social media figures across all social media platforms. City are massive in America. We're the most watched team in America. Right. My question about the World Cup is that I think America is falling in love with football again, like a wider base. People did not know what fan culture was like because it's been that long since the World Cup was in America. And now I see all the news and so on is about the Scots fans in Boston and the Danish fans there. Sorry, the Norwegian fans doing their rowing, and cops dancing with fans from other teams, and taking over baseball grounds for games and just turning up and being on the piss. And I think I see a lot of comments from Americans saying, "What can they come to? Is it Fenway Park the Scots took over?"
See, I didn't see what they. I didn't see that.
The baseball ground, right?
Was Fenway Park in Boston? Yes.
Yeah, and they were saying, can the Scots come over every year? We'll just have a special game where the Scots come because we've never seen Fenway Park rocked like this.
Okay.
But what the Scots were doing were what British and Scottish and English fans do at every game.
Yeah, they were just themselves. Yeah,
do a load of banter, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that this can only be good for City, because people in America are choosing City in overwhelming numbers.
I think what's going to happen, if I'm being honest, what I think will happen, all of these countries are camped out in different locations for the most part.
Yeah.
Like Kansas City is in the Midwest. It's in the middle of, I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere because that disrespects Kansas City. But again, it's not on the East or the West Coast. It's in flyover country, just like where I am, right?
Yeah.
But Algeria has been there. I think Argentina is camped out there. And my entire timeline has been Kansas City, just regular Kansas City folks getting super involved with Algeria, and Algeria fans getting connected with Kansas City and all of the sports teams that Kansas City has. And so it becomes this kind of this love between the two. And so then now you start looking for, is there an Algerian player that I can support? And if you see that player go and thrive, say a Riyad Mahrez, or hopefully say a Marmoush. Well, Marmoush is in Egypt, but Ait-Nouri or something like that. Ait-Nouri. So now you think, well, who do they play for? I assume you probably know Ryjack. Ryjack said he became a fan at I think it was the last World Cup or Cup before that, because he was watching Belgium and he saw KDB and was like, I like that guy. I like that player. Let me find out where I can find more of them. Big up to everybody that came over from the LB raid. Appreciate that.
LB Raiders.
Appreciate you guys. Yes, Holland got 2 goals and I believe an assist potentially. So Brad says, yeah, it's kind of like sister cities back in the day. I think we do still have those in America, but we don't talk about it. I think they were probably established years ago and it's just there. But so I think seeing my timeline, that's what I've seen a lot of. People just really falling in love with the people that are in their local community. And, Kansas City's not LA, right? It's not LA. It's not New York. Yeah. So they're getting behind they made a big deal when Algeria showed up. They had the band from local college that was there, and they had learned the Algerian national anthem, and they were playing it. And then before you know it, fans started to learn the words to so it's really just been this whole love fest, to be honest with you, to the point where I actually, if I'm going to be completely honest, not in that sense, but one of my other favorite things has been watching how on social media the conversation around everything in the US. So Martin, when you came to the US for the first time, I don't know how long ago that was. You've been here a couple times, if I'm correct, right? You've been over to the US a couple times.
32.
You say 32?
Yeah.
Really? Oh my God. just got too much disposable income. So if you've been here what was the first thing that stood out to you or that you realized maybe is different than what you were originally thinking or were originally told? What did you, when you got here, see and say, oh, that's different? I didn't think that.
In what sense? Football?
So, I mean, just society in general. So like, there's a lot of people who talk about, oh, I thought Americans were going to be rude or whatever. And oh, they're so super nice or whatever.
I mean, I was 6 when I first come. So when you're 6, I mean, I've been to West Coast and East Coast. I've been to both sides. I mean, there's a difference between West Coast and East Coast.
Yes. And Midwest and South. Everything is different. Yeah.
Not done a lot of Midwest. The Chicago, did Boston, but again, they're naturally over on the East, really, aren't they? If you want to. Listen, I've experienced all that. I've experienced the. I know a word this. So you're asking me questions now where I've got to word this in the correct manner.
Yeah.
I have met the so-called loudmouth, arrogant American. And I've also met a very nice, very polite American. It depends what you're sort of going there for, I suppose, and what you're there for. A lot of the time, I'm there for an holiday. So I think it's very different between going on a holiday or staying there for a length of time. Done a little bit of Route 66. That was an eye-opener. Las Vegas, LA, I've done. San Francisco, I thought was beautiful. LA hated. Thought they were rude.
LA, okay.
And they were way better than you. We know it all, blah, 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 sort of people that I met. It's funny because a lot of Americans I met, for some reason, think I was Australian, which was very weird. They can't sort of decipher between an Australian and a Brit.
You know what it is? I think so in the US, there's different regions. Different regions have different, slightly different culture. They eat different foods. They have different accents. And it's very much the same in the UK. I think from our perspective, if you don't know any better, you think everybody is posh and sounds like the Queen of England. And that's not the case. You don't sound like that. But if I were to go down to, probably to London, there might be more people that sound the stereotypical.
If you got on a bus from where Martin is and went like 10 bus stops, so you're in a place called Hyde, right? And these are not long bus stops. Right?
Okay.
This is like you'd have gone through. I don't know where Martin is in Manchester, but say you went from the city centre, you went to Gorton. People in Gorton would speak very much like Oasis, a little bit like Martin. I guess you were South Manchester, probably. But then you go to Hyde, and it slows right down, and people talk like that, and they get on a buzz, not a bus, and that's literally. And I'm from Denton, so you go. Etihad, right? Gorton, Denton, Hyde.
See, I'm opposite.
And you come 15 minutes from the Etihad.
I'm sort of Newton Heath, Bradford Road, Failsworth, going towards Oldham. So I'm in between that sort of area. So
but if you go to Ashton's slow. It's always Oldham.
Ashton do all
the
balls, can of Coke, slice of cake. Everything's like bloody, and you're like
miles. So you don't even have to travel out of Manchester to hear different accents. There are 3 distinct Manchester accents.
Yeah, there's a massive difference because I've always said, unless you get the real dramatic man, no one walks around going, "Sweet as my bro." And all this, they don't talk like that. It's one or two.
Go to Blakely, mate. Blakely.
No, because my grandma lived in Blakely for 25 years and never spoke like that.
See, I found it because I
trained like that.
I trained at Crumpsall. I trained at NMGH,
She lived in New Moston and Moston and all the way down. My brother lives on St Mary's Road, which is virtually next door to Blakely. No one talks like, so I mean, no one does that. Maybe they did 10 years ago. They don't now.
So let me ask you guys a football question.
Go on.
So I'm looking, and I believe they've shown who's going to be starters for Algeria versus Argentina, which is the next game to kick off. And they've got Ait Nouri starting at left back. Okay, understand that. But there's no Riyad Mahrez.
No, because he's about 36.
Am I okay? I was going to ask, am I asking too much to expect him to still be playing? Am I doing too much?
Anymore.
Yeah, I guess I was expecting him to be still be out there playing.
Sorry, you know, it's all about 17 and 18-year-olds now, and we roll them out. That's what everyone does. Anyone over the age of 28 is washed and finished, mate. You know this.
No Mahrez, no party, because he's washed. Oh my God, not Mahrez.
We'll be saying all this. I don't get me on a rant on it.
He's not been playing in a super competitive league, to be honest.
Playing in Saudi, yeah.
He's got his bag. It's great. I'm so happy for him.
Curtis said he's only ever been to New York City, but always wanted to go to the Rust Belt, Philadelphia, and then LA and San Fran.
See, from a football standpoint, I saw a massive difference when me and Pat went over to Orlando to watch City Barcelona. That was a massive difference.
What was the difference versus watching it? Where did you watch it before? Was the difference where you watched it, or just that the country collectively has grown up? We've matured.
You ever know, because I was talking to a lot of American fans, and it was more of a football festival than it was there for Manchester City.
Okay.
It was a football festival, and they had a big sort of party, like, you know, what they call fan zones, which we don't have over here. We don't do the fan zones.
And we don't
fan
do them typically. Big. But like things like this, the World Cup, or
this is
the summer. Yeah, I would say the summer tours. We do those things there, but a typical, like a regular season game isn't going to have that. But we always have, have the what's the word I'm looking for? We always have, when we sit outside and we eat food before, I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it was more of a football festival and a Premier League party than it was a Manchester City.
And what I've said on other occasions is we like events. As Americans, we love events, and people are going to these games because it's the World Cup.
Ticking a box.
Because Ed was with me in the Camping World Arena, Camping World Stadium, whatever you want to call it, and luckily, there was a 2-hour delay, whatever it was.
Oh, because of the weather
and everything else. And Ed's looking at me, and he looked at me, and he went, "You all right?" I went, "Okay, just give me 5. I need to get my head around all this." And there was Newcastle fans, Sunderland fans, West Ham shirts, City shirts, mixing with United shirts, mixing with Liverpool shirts, mixing with Real Madrid shirts, we're mixing with Barcelona shirts. Now, to me, that's World War III in an absolute. That's World War III on a plate. And I walked up and I went, "You're in red. Why are you here?"
And what was the response?
Premier League, man.
Some people might think I'm being a bit rude for that, and I was like, you can't. Again, in England, it's about segregation, separation, and neither the two will meet, or you crack each other over the head with a lead pipe, sort of thing, and you don't do it.
But
and the response I got was, we love the Premier League. It was more in love with the Premier League than Manchester City. There wasn't a love. 1 or 2 there was. There wasn't that affection of City. It was
but that person had on they were a red, you said, right?
Yeah, there was a red. There was a couple of Aston Villa fans. And they were selling all these outside as well.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I saw a Barcelona fan buying a Real Madrid shirt. Go and do that in Barcelona in Spain. See what happens to you.
See, so this is interesting because I wouldn't have expected, like, if I'm a blue, right? I'm not gonna go buy a United shirt. I don't care what happens. I'm just not. So that's interesting to me. But there's a lot of people who are just who are trying to be fans of the sport or whatever. And so you're telling me these two big teams are coming to my city. I'm just gonna go and I'll have a good time. I just like the sport.
That's what it was. People were there just to see two teams, big teams. Some didn't even have an affiliation with them.
I got into a conversation on X the other day because a girl had posted something and she was calling the World Cup FIFA, right? And I tried to explain to her that that's like calling the Super Bowl NFL. It doesn't work.
Thank you, DC.
It doesn't make any sense. Now, she wasn't being deliberately rude by calling it FIFA. She just did not know because she's not followed football. But she's following the World Cup because it's an event that's happening in her city. But she doesn't have the language to talk about it. And that's absolutely fine. And I expect that. I don't see a negative about that. The next question I wanted to ask you, though, Tarek, if I believe we're going to recruit a lot of Man City fans during this World Cup, right, in America. I think it's going to be a major, because people are going to be asking their friends, who do you support? You know, they're going to be seeing the kids with the Haaland shirts and know that Haaland is a massive star. So I think we're going to see a boost in Man City fans. And I know that there's already a community of City fans there who are doing watching stuff in pubs, and their supporters club. So, supporters clubs should be getting really excited about that, because I think they're going to get an influx and that's going to bring them in. And I think that's great, because the American audience is exponentially bigger than any other for this game and for our team, our club, right? And I love that. The thing is that I know a lot of Mancunians aren't very happy with that, but they'll deal with it. They'll get over it.
No,
will those American fans stick, or will they be promiscuous if the glory goes?
No, I think so. So there's two different. Yeah. So there are the fans that are, I'm going to follow a player, right? So if Haaland continues to have games like this where he gets 2 goals and potentially 2 goals and assists, I don't know if they actually credit him with that or not, but let's just say he gets 2 goals or a goal every game, even if it's just not 2, but just get a goal every game. He's the face of the World Cup. He's in the contention for, Golden Boot. People are drawn to that, not let alone the fact that he's a big 6'4" dude with long blonde hair, whatever, right? Kids who are, because again, most the soccer or football is probably the biggest youth sport in the U.S.
Facts.
Even bigger than football, even bigger than basketball. It's the biggest. More people play it as a kid. And so you're right. They're the ones whose dads are buying them these Haaland shirts because they're asking for it, so on and so forth. So you're going to have some that absolutely will stick. You're going to have some that are just fans of Haaland. And then if Haaland goes to Real Madrid, they're going to go with him to Real Madrid, especially the younger kids, right?
Could you put a number on that, a percentage? How many?
It's hard to say, right? Yeah. And the difference is, so even, and this is not unique to football or just because we're overseas, they do that with other sports too. So no, I don't have
culture, and I'm fine with that. It's different. It's not England.
Yeah, so there's not a football. There's not a MLS team in my state, right?
Right.
I could go to Illinois 3 hours away and be a Chicago fan. I could go to Ohio and be either a Cincinnati or a Columbus fan. Those are probably close to that 3 hour as well. But there's a lot of people who don't have teams around them, especially if you're living in these rural areas. So you're picking a team or even a player for whatever reason. If you live in New York you're a New York fan, whether it's the Knicks or the Brooklyn, whatever. You're a fan of those New York teams. If you live in Philadelphia, you're a Philadelphia fan.
Yeah, you're
but
born
other
into
people who don't live in those areas find reasons to pick teams.
Fascinating. Tell me more about that decision.
Yeah. I mean,
there'll be glory hunters, right?
Well, I mean, there are people. Yeah. So, you can find different reasons as to why you choose to support the people that you choose to support, right? In some cases, it is, hey, I'm looking for a good team. But what I think football, soccer, whatever you want to say it, is unique in the fact that the culture around the sport is anti-glory hunter. So people tell you from the beginning, if you're going to pick a team, you can't pick the best team. You got to pick somebody else. Now, you can do what you want to do, but that's a big discussion around the sport. So my boss, or actually my boss's boss, or way up the chain, but he went to England and he lived in England for a while. And while he was there, he was told, he was like, okay, I've got to pick a team. So he was living in London, and they told him, well, you can't pick Arsenal for this reason. You can't pick Chelsea. You can't pick. So he couldn't. They told him you have to pick a smaller team. So he ended up picking.
West Ham?
No, Rangers.
Queen's Park
Rangers. And then, of course, a couple years later, they get relegated or whatever. But he still talks about Queen's Park Rangers because he was connected to it.
Right or die.
Yeah, and so once you understand, that was the same thing with me. When I was told, listen, and I people don't care a lot for Blue Moon Forum or whatever, but I was searching for information about the sport. And once I knew I was going to be a Blue, I was looking for any and all information about the club, whatever. But just football, soccer in general, you're told, listen, this is a one and done. You get one chance. You pick one time, and that's it. You don't get to choose, and you don't get to switch. Now, again, when you're a kid who doesn't have those familial ties, then it's whatever. You're a kid, nobody cares. But at some point, now you don't get to change anymore, and that's unique to football, I think, to a certain extent. Now, there's some people who would never change their team anyway. If you live in Philadelphia, you're not going to give up on Philly. You're not going to go from Philly to being a Knicks fan or whatever.
That's a birthright fan, like we are.
Big up, Louis.
Hi, Louis.
Big up.
So we're born into clubs, or most of us are, especially people from the city itself. We're born into those clubs. We have fans from outside of Greater Manchester who have chosen. United have a lot of London-based fans, a lot of Ireland-based fans, because of their enduring success over until 15 years ago. So we do have that route, but it's not the most common route. Except for United. And it's really interesting. 60% of the people at Old Trafford will be from outside Greater Manchester, whereas 70% of the people in the Etihad will be from within Greater Manchester. I'm doing some research on this for quite a studied piece that I'll put out, I don't know, in a couple of weeks. But I'm fascinated by the American audience because I see it as a huge potential market for growth for the club, thinking about the club commercially. And I want to understand maybe, and this is also for our channel, what could be done to make them sticky? Like, how do we get them to identify as City
I think
fans?
the people who are watching these things are going to be sticky. They're going to be sticky.
All of them are.
Well, I think most people are.
Come on, all are.
Well, not all, not all of anything, but anybody who's investing the time to go search out football content is more likely to be sticky than the truly, glory hunter, or just somebody who's just,
Listen, I've met some amazing Blues. Ed, yourself, DC. Some amazing Blues stateside. I met some amazing people in Asia, some amazing people in Australia. I think the game is worldwide, 100%. You say, I mean, I was talking, me and Trevor having a long conversation about this the other day. It's not. I think people got this idea that the local fans are against fans abroad, and we're not. There's no issue with any fans abroad whatsoever.
So let me say this. You might very well be right, because I am thinking about it as a 40-plus-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just hang out on YouTube unless I'm searching for something that I'm interested in. There is a whole generation of people who grew up on YouTube, and it's where they go, and they're just out here searching. They're just out here watching whatever. So you might very well be right, that it's maybe not as, if I'm,
it's not as brutal as some people say, because I've spoken to so many groups.
Absolutely, Steve definitely frowned on.
It's the way the club have been with it. The club don't know how to get a balance.
The club aren't getting this right at the moment. I think they will, because I trust our leadership, and I trust Khaldoon to understand this, because I think he always has.
It can't be one at the expense of the other.
Absolutely.
And
not.
if it is, let's just be honest.
That is exactly what.
It can't be that. And if it is going to be that, you have to, and this is where maybe the club has gotten it wrong, you have to protect your local fan base.
Correct.
As much as, so let's go the other way, right? So in the NFL, the Jacksonville Jaguars go to London quite a bit, and they play in London quite a bit, to the point where they're talking about they would be okay with moving one of their home games over there, and consistently. Well, that only hurts the local fans in Jacksonville. But why do they want to do that? Because London is much more populated. They have much more. It's higher income. It's all of the things than Jacksonville, than where Jacksonville is. Yeah. But you shouldn't prioritize the international fan base. But in the U.S., that's more common, I guess.
That thing only makes sense on a P&L.
Yeah,
it takes no account.
Snoopy is right. Bandwagon culture is frowned on in most places, right? So again, when the New York Knicks the other night, the New York Knicks just won the NBA title. They won 4 games, or 4-1 as far as the series was concerned. But there were a lot of fans, celebrity fans, that showed up all of a sudden for the games that you don't see them normally. Oh, are you really a Knicks fan? And so you hear the conversation with regular people,
and they lie about.
So people don't want to see bandwagon fans. And I had the comment from I think it was from DC, who said it earlier. Yes, when there's so he said in the 90s. Here in the U.S., I was told I should support the Rags because they win. Those are the same people who now call me a glory hunter. Again, because United had their period of success, they have a lot of fans. Arsenal have their period of success, they have a lot of fans. And, and again, I don't want to spend too much time here. I do want to get to some of the footy itself, and I want to hear people's thoughts on the World Cup matches, and we can get into City as well. But when I started watching, my kid was playing. She was playing soccer. And we had gotten to a place, because my sport was mostly basketball. My kid, I tried to get her in basketball. I signed her up. She played. The next year, you want to play again? And no. She did that with a lot of different things. It was gymnastics. It was whatever. But the only thing that every single year she wanted to play was soccer, was football. So as a dad, I said, okay, look, I'm not going to force you to go play basketball because I like it. I'm going to go learn about the sport that you obviously like. And so we just kept doing it. And there would be other little things here and there that just kind of built upon it. And so my love for the sport grew from watching my kid. But then I started to I'm going to go learn about it, because I know basketball. I can do that in my sleep, but I need to learn this other sport if this is what you're going to play. And it kind of went from there. But I have a friend from high school who watched Arsenal way back and was, into soccer, into football way back. I wasn't. So when I realized that, I was like, okay, so what team should I support? I asked that question. And if he told me you should be an Arsenal fan, I probably would have been an Arsenal fan because I didn't know any better. Yeah. He told me, no, you don't. You watch as much football as you can. The team will pick you. You will know when you start living and dying with every moment, and you find yourself actually rooting for wins and losses and hurting from losses. You'll know when you become a fan. Don't pick anything until it'll pick you. So, okay, I just watch a lot of football because it was on NBC, or NBC had the thing, and so you could get access to a lot of these games. So you just start watching it. City happened to be on a lot because they had just won the title. So part of it is you get exposed to it. Yeah. But for me, I see a Yaya Toure. I see a David Silva. I see these players who I'm attracted to the way that they play the game.
Right.
As let's just be honest, as a black man in the US, seeing black players play this sport that in my head, black people didn't play.
What?
Let's just be honest. I didn't think that because I didn't know any better. I wasn't exposed to the fact that you got all these African countries and players and all this stuff. It's truly the world's game, but I didn't know that. So when I see people that look like me, and in this case, Yaya Toure, Vincent Kompany, thriving, and then I watch Vincent Kompany, he's the captain of the team. Yeah. I love it. And then you think about, I lived it. So there's it just keeps building. And so then this is my team.
Fascinating stuff for me. I know you want to move on to football, but I just want to comment on what DC just said. DC, that is many people's route into supporting a team. And it should be if you're not born into supporting that team. If you're not from Greater Manchester, it's an absolutely legitimate way that you were told that they win a lot, and so you'll naturally gravitate to those when you first get interested. And then because you chose in the 90s, you had a lot of glory, you were rewarded quite instantly, but you've stuck with them. Sorry, it says when I first became a City fan, I thought I read you became a United fan.
City fan, and he vowed to do it right. And this is the same for me.
Right.
Once I realized I was going to be a City fan, I am a City fan. Now I'm already told, because the culture of the sport says you don't get to switch, you don't get to change. And quite honestly, we don't like glory hunters. So you need to actually
get that information, or is that
I went to
American fandom?
I was spending time on it back in the day. There was I think it was Big Soccer Forum, and then I went to Blue Moon Forum, and I was out there all the time. And they have a section that talks about the history of Man City. So I just was out there trying to learn all of the stuff. And again, I know people don't like it, and that's their prerogative. But for me, I needed something to give me that background because I didn't grow up with it. And so that's what it did for me. Louis, are you watching these World Cup matches or no?
Yeah, I'm watching I got the pre-show on for the Argentina-Algeria game right now.
So out of the matches you've seen thus far, what's been your favorite moment or whatever? What's been your favorite so far in this World Cup?
Game, definitely the Netherlands-Japan.
Okay. Yep. That was a good one.
Yeah, because obviously I hyped them up last week. Favorite moment, probably Erling Haaland just introducing himself.
Yeah, got the 2 goals.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just been like this World Cup. It's still things going on, and it is what it is. But it's good seeing the football back again, even though it shouldn't be where it is. But yeah.
So obviously most of us, or all of us here on the panel, are City fans. probably most people in the chat are City fans. The season's over. There's no matches to look forward to. There's a lot of conversation in transfer windows, all of those kinds of things. And I've consistently told Martin that he is our ITK. He is our transfer source. So Martin, Martin, what news do you have for us today? Hopefully it's good news, but we'll take bad news if it's news.
Sorry, what? You want that?
Yeah, tell me what's going on in the transfer world. What are you hearing?
Are you gonna break the Lamine Yamal for $200?
Lamine Yamal's gonna sign with City. Who are these 18, so we're going to spend 150 on him.
A bag of chips.
There was some 17-year-old that was doing it for Norway, so we might bang 80 million on him.
So there is a
16-year-old played for Japan, so we can stick a good 55 on him and all.
Well, you're joking, but we are being linked with a young kid from. Oh. Was he from PSG?
No one can remember his name even.
No. He signed on a free. He's going to sign a 5-year deal, but he's going out on loan. He's not coming into the first team. He's going out on loan.
I think people were questioning if he was going to be a part of the academy or what.
No, he's going out on loan. Ruben Diaz.
Tonali's going to Spurs. Great terms.
Ruben Diaz has opened. Well, Real Madrid have made contact with Ruben Diaz. That is official. Gamadio's signing his deal 2031. Elliot Anderson will get done.
Get done. Well, the World Cup has started.
No official bid from Spurs. He's on holiday at the minute. So when you're hearing out about all this, it's getting closer. They've done this. He's on bloody holiday, guys.
So you mentioned so let's go back. So we got this PSG center back, Herman Malonga, 18. You said he signed on a free. He did sign already?
Yeah, he's agreed to come on a free transfer. We will have to pay some money under the rules because of his age. We'll have to pay some compensation.
Yeah.
He'll either get done privately or go to a tribunal.
And he'll go out on loan. So you mentioned Ruben Diaz, because again, this is center back related. Ruben Diaz has been at least in conversation with Real Madrid. He just recently signed a new contract, did he not?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, is this just posturing for a new deal? But he just signed one, so I don't think there's any more.
Getting a new deal, man. Do you want me to be honest? This is posturing for to be loved, to be wanted, to feel a little bit, appreciated, rather than your third and fourth choice. You're slow, get the fuck out of the football club. Sort of thing. I think there's a bit of posturing to get the captaincy, maybe. But listen, I'm going to say this again. A 29-year-old Ruben Diaz is not going to sit on a bench at Manchester City and just not play football. He's in the prime of his career. He's not going to do it. Nor should he have to do it at 29 in the prime, when you've got teams like Real Madrid coming after you. So
I don't think he will. I think he'll be our starter.
Get ready for the meltdown then, Trev. Don't go online for about 6 months.
I don't care about those people. If people want to think like children about this, then that's their choice, and I will engage with them.
Yeah, because you get all this. Oh, he's slow. He's too slow for Manchester City, but he's quick enough to play for Real Madrid. Weird, that, isn't it?
But again, that's not really that's
not like Real Madrid. Like Real Madrid are some basket case of a football.
No,
team.
but part of it is play style.
know
So
what
if
that
you're a manager who doesn't play a high line, we know Diaz is good. We're not saying he's I don't think anyone is saying he's trash. I would hope not.
Oh no, they are.
Well, then that's a different conversation.
Please don't kid yourself with that. They are. I put a tweet out earlier. Just read the replies.
We've been through the origin of where this started, and that was because Kusa is the first Uzbekistan superstar to play in the Premier League, and so we've had an influx of hundreds of thousands of Kusanov fans. And I think I've spoken even on your show before about the Mahrez effect. When we had Riyad Mahrez, we had hundreds of thousands of Algerian fans who were not City fans, but Mahrez fans. Any time he wasn't picked, the abuse on Manchester City's own social media for whoever they thought had took his place, which was, I can't remember who it was, but sometimes it was Foden, sometimes it was someone else, who they thought had taken their boy's place in the team, got dogs abuse. And the same thing is happening. That's what
it is the same thing with Ed and Dzeko too. I saw that early on.
Did it tonight. If you go under the fronts, because City Extra put a tweet out, Ryan Cherky's on the bench for France.
I was going to say he came on in the 87th minute. I think.
Underneath.
So what we have to understand,
Deschamps gets crucified by City fans,
and what we have to understand is that this is not reality. This is not adult thinking. This is emotional thinking, and I don't mind them doing it. I get it. I understand why they're so excited about having the first Uzbek player in history playing for a Premier League team. And of course they want him to play in every game. And of course they're going to be disappointed. But what they must not then do is then target a perfectly competent player who's keeping him out of the team with abuse. Because that will be picked up by some negative-minded people or some other people who aren't Uzbeki fans who love to be negative about the club. Some people have channels who are desperate to peddle drama and negativity about the club and players. We have some of our own audience who just focus on the negative and will amplify that. We've got people referring to Rodri as ploddery again, for fuck's sake. These people need to do one because there is that kind of fan.
How did you guys think Rodri performed in the Spain game?
But he did all right. Not great. None of them were great. Poor team performance.
Louis, what was your thoughts about Rodri's performance in the Spain game?
There were some things he was really good at, like the chance that Ferran Torres scored from. Like, that's typical Rodri. But there were other moments where he was just really slacking, and it's like max fitness. So I was just very surprised with the manager bringing him off, because he looked composed. Like, there were moments, but it was nothing new with Rodri when he's not match fit. So
I was going to say maybe he took him off because he's not quite.
The one thing I'll say about Diaz, and I agree that selling him is like, it shouldn't happen. But I pointed it out on Martin's chat before. Like, what if Ruben Diaz is the one asking to be sold? What do you do then? Because if you got a player like that saying, I want to leave and I want to go to Real Madrid, it's a whole different ball game. Like, from him, from Mendes, and like, how does Maresca handle it? How does Hugo Viana handle it? It's because I don't want him.
We know Pep's philosophy, right? Pep's philosophy was always, if you want to go. Go bring in a number that we agree with. On
the same point, mate, you overprice him.
We have a number. And if you can have somebody bring in that number, you can go. And in the case of somebody like Bernardo Silva, in my mind, that number was never met. And so he hung around, even though maybe he would have liked to have gone a couple years ago. Other players that, people get, when I think to a certain extent, we probably would have liked to keep Julian Alvarez. But if you get 80 million, a number brought in, okay, see ya. So I think if Diaz truly wanted to go, which I don't know that he does, but if he does want to go, he's going to have to go have Real Madrid or whoever it is pay the money. Now, what that number would be, I don't know. But I don't want to see him leave. I want to see consistency, which we haven't seen a lot of these last couple years, unfortunately. But go ahead, Martin. You were telling us about Ruben Diaz is being linked with, has been linked with, and is in conversation with Real Madrid. If you had to put a percentage on it, how far? You said you think it's probably just more posturing to be, I just want to be loved again. I want to feel like you want me to be here, which I understand that. Do you think there's a realistic chance that he goes away, he leaves?
I would hope so, that it's posturing. Do I think there's a real chance he leaves? I'm going to be honest, I'd say I'm 50-50 right now.
Okay.
I really am. I'm 50-50 on it. You see, my issue is I'm not saying Diaz has to play every single game. I'm not saying he does. I don't think Kushnov has to play every single game.
Right.
I think there can be a time when they can play together. That's why I don't buy the stat argument. People going about stats. Kushnov can progress the ball out better. He can do this better. Stats don't show that. This is what people need to explain to me. The stats don't show that Diaz is our fourth worst defender. They just don't. And I don't even mean the wins or losses. Progressive passes, progressing the ball out. He's one of the best out of all of them. And I've got the stats to prove that. Go on FootMob, go wherever you want. They're there.
Mm-hmm.
People forget Diaz and Gvardiol both got injured in the same game. I can't remember which game it was. And we had to change. Chelsea again. You go up until that point. We were not conceding goals. We were winning games on a consistent basis. No, everyone was loving it. Said one of the best back line we had.
Mm-hmm.
And now
he carries a lot of experience as well, which is,
and we're chucking him in the bin.
Don't have.
So there was conversation about Josko being looked at by Real Madrid as well, which I understand. Every team in the world would want Josko.
Was considering it. This is my thing. Both these players, I'll tell you now, we're considering this. Why? That's my concern. Why are they considering it?
Do you give any thought to the fact that maybe it's just because we're losing a historically great manager?
Possibly.
I think that's a narrative that a lot of United fans and Arsenal fans were trying to get going when, at the end of the season. They were all saying, look for the Exodus. No, Pep's not
Exodus
there.
is hard, is strong. I don't think
no,
there's
but they were
Exodus
trying that. And so the ghost of that narrative will still be hanging around. And they will be hoping that that's true. But Gvardiol staying is a big statement.
Yes,
that's not true. And if we keep Diaz as well, I think it's a really strong statement. And I'd also like us to keep Kova.
To me, this is what I find remarkable in this debate. Again, Trevor, nobody else is saying play Diaz week in, week out. No one's saying that. What we're saying is there was nothing wrong with having 4 top centre-backs, right? And in certain games you play them. We're going to get injuries. You're going to get injuries in a 70-game season. One of them will do an hamstring or whatever. It might even be Diaz, whatever. Just say, for example, right, we get to a semi-final of a Real Madrid. Kushinov's injured, Gay's injured, Diaz is gone. You have to go with Gvardiol and Victor Hayes.
That's assuming Victor Hayes goes back.
Victor Hayes
is
better than... But I'm getting told Victor Hayes is better than Diaz. This is where the Diaz slander's coming in. The Diaz slander's got really personal. And this is my thing. He gets me and Magnus, house captain, we were joking about this privately about a month and a half ago. And we all predicted the next person to get the barrage of abuse, because it's now a running joke across a lot of City fans. We always predict a player who is the next target by a lot of the fan base. So it's been Walker, it's been Foden, it's been Semenyo. Semenyo wasn't even here six months, and he was getting, shit first touch and everything else. And we all said Diaz would be the next one. And for choice reason, it's Diaz. No one was calling Diaz shit 6 months ago. The Diaz stuff has only started since Kushinov's got into the back line. And the trouble is, no one's saying Kushinov is bad. Kushinov is great. But now, Rodri and Haaland and everyone was saying they can't play 70 games. They need a rest. 70 games, we're going to burn them out. But we're going to run Kushinov from 70 games till he falls on the floor and dies.
I think anyone that suggests that Kuznetsov should play every match and is untouchable is wrong. I think that, again, for the way that we have been playing under Pep with the high line, I think that there was something that he offered that nobody else did, at least not to that extent. And having lost Walker, who previously provided that pace, that recovery pace, and the ability to recover, we had that in Kyle Walker. We lost that. So we, in a lot of people's minds, we needed that to be able to play the way that Pep wanted to play. He offers that better, or probably to a higher level than anybody else in our back line. If we don't play as high a high line or whatever, then that need lessons. But regardless of what we play, your point is valid. No one can play every match of every, or should be expected to play every match. There's going to be rotation. He is among those players that is going, in my mind, going to get plenty of playing time. But as is Ruben Diaz. And I just think that's what it looks like. That's how I think it looks, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. We'll see. So we're a couple minutes out from kickoff in this Algeria Argentina matchup. Trev, is Argentina, I imagine, is the favorite. Do you think they win it? Is there any chance for Algeria?
The thing about Algeria is that they can just do magic. They are always capable of just pulling something out. They might be getting battered, but they've got flair players, and I think they play with bravado. They're not dull. I think the weather is gonna have a lot to say in this game. Those who are more used to playing in the climate that they're in have definite advantage in this particular game. Now, I think both teams play in similar climates, but more of the Argentinians are playing. I don't know. I don't know about this game. I can see Algeria getting something out of it.
Okay, Louis, who you got?
I didn't realize how stacked their Argentina's bench was. They got Nico Paz from Como. They got some really good players. I talked to a friend earlier. She said when Diaz not there, which amazed me. But I got it for Scaloni's picked Martinez over Alvarez. It seems like he didn't play much in the friendlies, but I've got it 3-1 with Messi getting the goal and assist and Julian getting one late on. With ain't no on Mazza. Someone I just rate Mazza highly and I want him at City badly. But I think one of those players are going to do something magical and get them a goal and make it 2-1. But I thought
I like that, Louis. I actually like that. I think that's a really good analysis. Yeah.
But I thought Argentina would easily win against Saudi Arabia first game 3-1 or 4-1, and look how that turned out. So that's the World Cup for you. You never know. It's not how you start, it's how you end, basically.
Yep. Which is why I don't think it matters that Spain didn't win. So you will see. But yeah, they do. Argentina is stacked. Julian Alvarez, Barco, Nico Paz,
Simeone.
Yeah. See, I don't really know him much, but Lo Celso was like talked about really highly a couple years ago. Tagliafico. They got Nicholas Otamendi. Let's go. What was his nickname? The General?
Yeah.
I think their goalkeeper, Rulli, I think he was pretty
Sorry,
good.
I've got to salute the General.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I understand.
You know,
but they got a lot of players, so we'll see. I think they should. They should.
It really
win.
wasn't Alan. Stop that, Alan. I know you got an agenda.
What did Alan say? I didn't hear you.
Alan hates Otamendi. He is known from the east coast to the west coast of Australia of hating Nicholas Otamendi. The whole of the UK know he hates on Nicholas Otamendi.
Why do you hate Nicholas Otamendi? Is it because he went to ground too much for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You fucking love Kushinoff, and that's all he does is go to bleeding ground.
Listen. I don't like Otamendi, right?
But you love Kushinoff.
Listen, no. I think the train driver's been promoted to the intercity trains now. So he's improved and he's now playing fullback.
By the way, sorry, I've got to say this. Sorry, Alan. You want to know where the ploddery came from, Trev? You're talking to him down there.
Yeah. You've got blood on your hands.
You started that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Started out on the Mancunian way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
the next time I'm on with somebody, they like, well, people used to call Rodri Plodri. I'm like, oh, I know who people are. People, not people. Alan called him.
I saw some people call him. Some people call him the Joel Garcia regen.
I think Argentina will win the game, but in the group stages, you just have to finish in the top three. That's all you need to do.
Well,
so it doesn't really matter if you win or you draw. You know, look, if you finish in the top three, you get through to the knockout stages.
I think something I noticed. Something I noticed in the Japan game. And it seems to have been picked up in a different way than I said it during the game. The thing about Japan is that they play unusually, right? Most countries are playing a similar way of playing football. In the continent, they have their way. Germany have their way, and the UK have their way. But there are similarities that make when they play each other somewhat more predictable for the opponents, or for the opposing teams. They know the roles. Japan are presenting something radically different. They're not playing in those shapes. They're doing something.
Is insane.
Yeah, and they're doing something self-referencing, which I think is really interesting. And I think Algeria have a bit of that about them as well. They're not playing conventionally. They're kind of, I don't know. Japan are definitely doing it deliberately. I don't know whether Algeria are doing it deliberately. I suspect they're not, but I think they're awkward because maybe they're randomly awkward, whereas Japan have chosen different strategies to give teams something to think about. The coach holding up those numbers during the game, changing formations during the game, just by holding up a bit of cardboard with 45 written on it or 32 written on it. And all those players are drilled in that. This is new. This is innovation. Algeria may be awkward because they're Algerians and they're passionate and emotional, nationalistic, all of that stuff. They could really do something, I think. Not often and not consistently, but they've got an upset in them. I don't know if it's this game. I think Louis called the score right, and I think his analysis of the game is far more coherent than mine.
Brad Keller says that keeping Josko is a big win for Hugo Viana. Mm-hmm. Curtis said he misses the days when we didn't know about a transfer until a player was having his photo taken holding the shirt, which a lot of people said, oh, that's what it felt like when Bunny Shaw signed, because no one was expecting that and just came out of the blue. There wasn't a lot of conversation about it ahead of time. No one knew. It's just boom. I don't know if there's always been conversation since I've been a fan. So maybe not as much with like the Fabricios of the world, but there was always conversation.
I'm going to chuck a stat at you now that's going to shock you, and I've just looked at all four. Out of all four of our centre backs, guess who has the highest passing accuracy?
Ruben Diaz.
All four of them.
Ruben Diaz.
But so let me ask this question, Martin. So the only issue when you make that statement, right, is passing accuracy can be inflated by making a lot of short, safe passes. I'm not suggesting that is what Ruben Diaz has done, but that's what that's how you pad that stat.
But you can start pad anything into that, though. And that's what I'm saying. When you look at, because I've compared all four, when you look at all four of our centre-backs, Diaz is in the top 1 or 2 of all four of all the stats defensive-wise. But all I hear is crap at everything. This is why I'm kicking back.
But see, I think you're overstating that, Martin.
But
I think people are saying he's slow, and I think.
Do you want to get up my tweet from earlier?
Let's see if I can find it.
I'll get it up. Right.
Oh, you're gonna pull it up? Okay.
From earlier, I put selling Ruben Diaz would be an absolute. Where's it gone? I mean, it's just my opinion. Would be an absolute mistake for me. 29, he is good at everything except pace, which stats show, which he's never had. Fighting for top honours with Gavardio, Kushinoff, Gay and Reese is a massive risk. 1 injury and what then? About 18 replies. One said agree too much. Someone started talking about Tanala. Jacob just went, will agree to disagree because he knows exactly what he said. And then someone called Otheanus said everything except pace. He's also shambolic in the air, hits the ground way too easily. Considering we play a hard line, he'd never make the picture be. I ain't losing out on Kushinoff, Ganvardi and Diaz and Gay for fucking Diaz. He ain't starting next season, mate. Plus, it's Real Madrid. He'll leave in a heartbeat. So I said, why? Diaz is 29 and already done a 5-year cycle at City since 2020. Won everything and settled in. The cycle doesn't last forever. Centre backs don't get more valuable. A move to Madrid is the best thing for him and the club. Talked about that. Headers, what he said about can't head anything. 1 injury, you still got 3 available plus a lane. So that's worrying me because now we're using Victor Hayes and Max Lane as 2 centre backs going into Champions League and stuff like that. There is, and I know people are going to say Twitter's not real life. I got that, and Treble backed me up. We got a lot of this in the chat earlier in our live show. We did a poll, and 48% in the poll said they'd get rid of him, Victor Hayes.
48% said they would get rid of Victor Hayes, or they would get rid of Ruben Diaz
to keep Victor Hayes.
But
I don't know what this is. This is my question. I'm not saying Diaz should play every game. I'm trying to figure out what one person under the Twitter was honest. He went, I'm not going to lose Kushinoff. That's what they're scared of. Kushinoff going to Real Madrid.
And this is what the debate is coming from. It's coming from people who are obsessive about Kushinoff.
It's not a fair debate.
Well, I mean, maybe. But again, I think so. Guy. My issue, and again, maybe somewhat playing devil's advocate, but also being the host and trying to bring a different perspective, right? I think we can overstate 2 things. We can overstate the hate that Diaz gets and pretend like there aren't, I don't want to say flaws, but there aren't weaknesses to his game that every player has, right? So I'm not saying he's unique and he's the only one that has a weakness. All players have weaknesses. His, in my opinion, happens to be his pace. I think he does a lot of other things really well. I don't think that, and I don't know what the numbers say, so I don't know, whatever. I don't think he is a dominant force in the box with headers. But again, he's not the biggest guy.
Hear me out, mate. He's never had pace ever.
Right.
Listen.
I agree with that. Pace argument dies for me. Never had it.
But I agree with that. But again, but that doesn't mean. Hold on. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you talk, Alan. But you can't say Well, he's never had pace, so therefore there shouldn't be a conversation about it when there was pace in the lineup. And so the lineup, because we had pace in the lineup, it got him out of some difficult situations. Kyle Walker's pace was able to bail out Ruben Diaz. If we don't have Kyle Walker's pace, who is bailing out Ruben Diaz? There is no one.
What do you mean bailing out? Can you give me examples of where we needed bailing out?
If he gets, I'm not going to be able to tell you. I'm too old to be able to. Hold on. I'm not suggesting that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that my memory doesn't work that way. I can't recollect in that manner.
You're just making a wild statement now. Though.
Well, I mean, you can think that, you can feel that, but the reality is that there have been plenty of times where players in our back line have gotten turned or gotten beat, and we've needed Kyle Walker to sweep up for us, or recently it's been and the game is going on, so big up to that, but it's been Kuzanov who's had to sweep up for us. So again, part of it is if you take him out, okay, I mean you can disagree. You can disagree at Martin.
Tariq, no, I don't disagree is because you look in Kushner, and listen, I like Kushner. I have one fault with Kushner.
I don't know if you do. It sounds like there might be a bit of an agenda forming. You and Alan. Alan hates Otamendi. You hate Kuzanov.
No, Tariq, this is what I mean. I like Kushner. Because I'm not building a statue and I'm not bowing down on my knees for him, doesn't mean that I hate him and I've got an agenda.
Let me say,
it's the bit I don't understand. For some reason, if you criticize Kushner, you've got an agenda on him. But every other player is open criticism.
I think I've explained where that.
It's not fair, Tariq. And you've just done it.
No, what I've said is you won't allow me to criticize. You won't allow me to criticize Ruben Diaz.
No,
is what I'm suggesting.
Here's a better question.
You're making a broad statement.
When has pace ever been a critical metric for centre backs?
It hasn't been necessarily, but again, with the high line that we play, you need right, but we've always also had pace. Do you disagree with that?
No, but all right, so why can't you play Diaz with Kushner? Nobody tells me.
You absolutely could play those two together. You could absolutely play those two together. But the problem with that is then it takes our best center back off the pitch.
Well, I always thought that Kusanov could play right back, but then Nunes turned out to be the world's greatest right back.
That was the compromise that a lot of people were hoping for.
So here's my thing.
Messi scored.
I'm trying to understand why at 20.
Did you say Messi scored? What time are you on?
4 minutes 54.
You're 15 seconds ahead of me. There it is, right there. Bat out.
He's offside.
Left foot.
He's offside. I
love Kushner. I think he's going to be amazing. My wish, why is everyone so desperate to get him in the team week in, week out straight away?
So that part I agree with, right? Wow. I think there needs to be a balance. Yeah, he's offside. He's leaning. I think there needs to be a balance.
Can I eventually say my piece, please?
Oh, sorry, Alan. I cut you off earlier, and I was supposed to come back. Bad host.
He did massively. All I'll say is Diaz is our leader at the back. He's an organizer, without any shadow of a doubt. He's the only one that's got a mouth on him, that organizes them, shouts at them, and gets them organized. When he's not there, we do look vulnerable. Okay, I will say you are right about you need pace at the back. We had it with Walker. We've got it with Kushner now. Diaz is a very, very good centre half. He was our centre half for the Champions League when we won it, when we won the treble. Fact. And he was. All right. When he's not there, his experience is massive. And City can't afford to get rid of experience at the back because it leaves us hugely vulnerable at the back if we have two young lads there. All right. Now, we definitely need 4, maybe 5 centre halves to rotate through the 68 games a season. And Martin is 100% correct on that. All right. we cannot afford not to have Diaz. If he goes, then who's leading them at the back? Who's the organizer? Diaz reminds me of Vincent Kompany when he never played for City when he was there. We were very, very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. And to me, we're losing Bernardo. We can't afford to lose another leader. No way. No way.
100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't want him to go. I just want to be able to.
Since Pep came 10 years ago, we've always played a high line. Always. It's nothing to do with the Pep ball over the top and to run on. It's to do with squeezing the space, and winning the ball back higher up the pitch. That's what it's to do.
And
Algeria with the early strike.
Right, I've just worked it out now, Tariq.
You did what? Sorry.
With Ruben Diaz at our back four, right up until he got injured against Chelsea, we lost 2 games out of 32.
Yeah.
With Ruben Diaz in the back four,
we lost 2 games in 32
this season.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up somewhere.
He's offside too. He's going to be offside.
Nobody ever accused Vincent Kompany of being fast.
Yeah. No, exactly right. He wasn't a quick player.
I don't know that he was fast. I had to go back in my
Vincent
memory
bank. Got about 3 red cards.
I was going to say, but he was a
leader, massive leader.
He was a tank.
Go and watch perfect game of Vincent Kompany. Go and watch Vincent Kompany against Hull City away.
Yeah,
we were about 4 minutes into the game, and Kompany got done as the last man with this highline, and he should have been sent off. And he was a very, very lucky boy how he didn't get sent off. I was there that day, and we went, "How's he not been sent off?" I mean, he literally scissor kicks the guy down to the ground, and Kompany got cut out loads, but no one was like. The thing is with the back line, the back two especially, is partnerships. That's what I'm looking for. I think we're looking at Diaz and Kushinov and Gueye and Gavardio as separate entities. When what you need is a partnership. A back two for me is like a marriage. If they're all in sync and they're all happy, they're brilliant. If one of them's having a bit of an off day, it will affect the other one. Because what makes, so say for example, Gay's having a bad day, that makes Kushinov have to do double the work because he's having to then go and cover Gay. Diaz, whatever. And I look, the best partnership we had all season for wins, least goals conceded, was Ruben Diaz and Josh Gavardio. They were the main two. And he started the season out where he was experimenting. He started with Stones, if you can remember, in Diaz. Stones and Diaz were the worst two. Those were the worst two. Statistically, they were the worst two, Stones and Diaz. Because I think they were both prone to making errors. And I just think we're going to look at it. Again, I love Kushinov. I love all our players. But it's when I say Victor Hayes over Diaz, I'm like, ow.
Again, I think that would be very hyperbolic because again, we haven't seen Victor Hayes in this league. He did well. I don't say he did great. He did well for Girona. But we need so
let me help you think about this. We're going to get Elliot Anderson. You watch Elliot Anderson and you immediately go, he fits into this team. He will arrive looking like he's always played for us, right? Can you say that about Victor Reis? No. Can you say that about?
Well, but I think people would say that he is effectively, and again, maybe this is overstating it, but they would look at him as a Stones regen who, for most people, was the prototypical Pep sitter back. So I think that there is a chance that he looks really good in this system. However, he doesn't have the experience yet to really like
I would say,
or that he gets a place. No one should be demanding Beeter Hayes to get his place because he hasn't done enough yet. But I think he has the potential to be really good.
All right. So my point is, like when I watch Mark Gahey,
Nori,
I knew that he would fit straight into the City team. Okay, Semenyo I thought would hold down a place for a while, because this is a quality issue. If we are going to lose Ruben Diaz and Hayes is an alleged replacement or someone who can come in, or Kusanov, who will be brilliant. He will be one of the world's greatest centre backs.
I think he's going to be world class.
Who isn't ready yet? So are you willing in those two positions, especially
what two positions?
The two centre halves.
Right. But Vitor Hayes is never going to be a starting center back for us. He's going to be fifth choice.
Yeah, but people are bringing the conversation only because we're talking about shipping Diaz.
Ake's going. Diaz is going.
He becomes a legit part of who
can't afford
there be an injury.
So hold on. I personally don't want Vitor Hayes to come back this season because I think his development will suffer if he's not on the pitch consistently. I think he should go on loan, play much like we've seen from Saliba for Arsenal. He spent 2 or 3 years on loan before being brought back. When he was brought back, he effectively went right into the lineup. I think Vitor Hayes can do that down the road, potentially. But if you bring him back and he only plays the odd match, I don't think that's good for him. My bad, Louis. I got two of you on here. I don't know which one to bring on.
Can I ask Jeremy Doku who got a question? Because he's put there, Kusanov better than Diaz in 2026. Let's not be delusional. How are we being delusional?
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Not you. People are.
But that's an emotional argument. He's making an emotional argument. It's not factual. He can't back it up with anything Kusanov has achieved. He can't back it up with Kusanov's statistics. He just likes Kusanov, which is fine. But don't you dare accuse people who really think about this team and this sport of being delusional. That's just such arrogance. How dare you?
I think that this conversation is only ever going to end up in this way. It's going to devolve into, the conversation about whether he is or he isn't. And again, I think that what we should be saying, and I've heard Martin, I've heard you say it, and I want to continue to echo it. Sorry. I got a severe weather alert in my area because of a thunderstorm watch. I'm gonna need them to stop interrupting the match. If the tornado blows through, I'm in the basement. Don't need to tell me. Put the match back on.
Did you know what it is, Tariq? My point is, for some reason, I agree with you. We could have the debate. I think it's a very healthy debate to have. But let's have a genuine debate. Let's have a football.
I don't know that I think it's healthy anymore.
No, I don't want any emotion. But the trouble is, this is my problem. People can't debate a player anymore without insulting them and being abusive to them and saying they're just shit. You're delusional. You're this, you're that. And it's like, these are the same people who were saying Diaz was amazing 6 months ago. I don't know why it's got to divide everyone.
And these aren't opinions. It's abuse. It's not an opinion. It's abuse. Abuse. Saying that insert player name here is shit.
I don't think anybody should say that. Again, I've always said, even if you wear the blue shirt of Man City, I'm going to back you unless there is some probably legal type thing for me to not back you.
Right. Jeremy Doku said, man, it's the system we play. We played that system for 10 years.
Yes, and I hear you, but a nuance would say that every year that we played it, we played it slightly differently. Maybe we're slightly higher up the pitch, slightly behind the pitch, and there's other factors and other changes that are also happening. So I don't think it's enough to just say, oh, well, we've always played this way. that's just it. I think there's more
the high
to it
line
than
is
that.
what I mean. They're on about the high line. We've always played the high line.
Yes, but has it been higher, lower? Has it been who's on the pitch? I think there's other things to. So see, again, they could have just did that at the bottom of the screen. And I missed the Argentina goal. How did I miss a goal?
Tariq, we got beat.
What in the world?
We got beat by Leon in the Champions League with a highline goal. We got beat at Liverpool 7 years ago by Mo Salah turning Cancelo on the halfway line and going,
"Oh, Messi, stop it!"
So let me ask this question, and so
good goal. Don't miss it.
Oh yeah, deep outside the D.
So Tariq, now I'm questioning, and this is not an insult. I'm questioning if they're asking me about the systems. How long they've been watching City for then?
No, I think we've been playing that.
I'm just giving you 2 examples from 7 and 8 years ago.
Yeah,
Leicester City at home when we got
that was a great shot.
Leicester City at home in Pep's first season, we got done like that.
I'd just like to say to Dylan, I understand why you think that, but it's not true. It's not 50% of the fans like Diaz and 50% of the fans like Kusanov. For example, Martin and I are Kusasexuals. We adore the kid.
So I think he's going to be world class.
Adore him. There is far more nuance in this thing, right? I made videos about Kusanov. I made a video about Kusanov.
Do you allow the fact that other people who say they want Ruben Diaz to be third choice, second choice, whatever? Do you allow for them to say that they also love Ruben Diaz, but he maybe in their mind? Well, you can't say that and then also say in the same in the previous sentence.
No, they're not saying that. They're putting on if you think Diaz is better, you're delusional, or Diaz is shit.
Yeah, okay. Again, you heard me say. I think those statements are way over the top. Regardless of if you say it about Kusanov, if you say it about Diaz, I think those are just
what me and Trevor saying is we're giving a balanced argument. They're just going Diaz is shit.
And I think 80% of City players love them both. City fans.
That's why I hope that we would be.
I think that if you want to do a percentage breakdown, where you've got a 10% of hardcore who just love Kusanov so much, but they're noisy, and their noise gets amplified by each other, and so it makes more racket than it's actually worth as an opinion, as a fan opinion. And then you've got people who are diehard Diaz defenders who you know aren't so noisy. And Martin and I guess a lot of City fans are in exactly the same position. I'd say 80% of us are really happy that we've got both of them for different reasons. And Diaz must stay because he's got qualities that Kusanov doesn't have yet, and he will gain by being in the same squad as Diaz.
I agree with that 100%.
But don't get me wrong, on the other side of the coin, Tariq, if Ruben Diaz wants to leave City to go Real Madrid,
okay,
see you, mate. Bye.
Yeah, he no longer exists.
You can go from me now. There's the other side of it. I only want players here who want to play here, Tariq.
Correct.
So I'm not doing this. Is not a Diaz loving and a hate Kusanov. This is I'm looking at what's best for the team. Because for me, if Diaz goes, we have to go and buy a top centre back. I don't want to rely on big Tays.
Go get Bastoni.
Shade on big Tays. We have to. If we sell Diaz, we have to go to market and buy another centre back, or you keep Ake.
So someone posted earlier when we were talking about the center backs, they mentioned Juma Ba. I saw that he supposedly is highly rated by Hugo Viana. I don't know that he was, again, I didn't pay attention to France, but I don't know that the thought is that his loan was that great. Do you heard anything about him, Martin?
Who's that?
Juma Ba.
They like him. Again, that's another thing. They like him. Viana, I'll break this. I might as well. Viana likes younger players.
It's probably all he could buy at his previous stop.
Yes. Now you bet me and Trevor have this conversation privately as well.
Martin, do you rate Viana do you rate him?
Who?
Viana. Do you rate Viana?
I don't. I haven't had enough time to judge him whether I rate him or not. Okay. From what I've heard, my question would be: Viana's got to realise he's not at Sporting Lisbon anymore. He's at Manchester City. He's at a very different ball game here, mate. You get away with buying 18 and 19-year-old project players at Sporting Lisbon.
You have to speculate.
Yeah, you don't do that at Manchester City. This is the thing. Let's go back 18 months ago. You know this, Tariq. We complained 3 years ago about not buying ready-made players and players good enough to compete on all levels. Why all of a sudden is everyone willing to go and do that now? What's changed?
Well, for a start, the money now, they charge 100 million for anyone decent.
Right. Okay. No, that's a fair argument, Alan. That's a fair argument. But why? So here's my question. If we bring in a bunch of young lads and we're gonna are we gonna give them the time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and are we going to lower our expectations to allow them to grow to become top players?
Well, Magnus talked about it.
Apart from Haaland, which one of the players we've got or had are with top players? The only times I can think about it was David Silva, Yaya Toure, possibly Sergio. The rest were all
said possibly players. Sergio?
Well, when we bought him, he was second string at Atletico Madrid, which is a fact. He was. Right? So which ones, apart from that era when we had to go and buy top-notch players to get to the top four at that time, it's very hard to prove that we went out, apart from Haaland, you would say, that the players were of that value at that time. It's very difficult to spend now over 100 million on players. Like Addison is not world-class. He's a good project player, he's a good youngster. 125 million. Are you taking the piss?
So City is being blamed. City is being blamed for driving the prices up.
It's just absolute nonsense. Don't even engage or entertain. It's nothing real about it. It's just churlishness and tabloid bollocks.
Yeah, that's absolute nonsense.
But they've already bid that. They've already bid that.
They've already bid the 120?
Man, they did 106 and 15 in add-ons. Just what we're doing is we're ignoring the add-ons. They bidded 121 million.
Yeah, but they want the money up front, don't they? Let's be honest.
No, not all of it. No, they don't want all of it up front. It's not about the money up front. They want a fee. They want a flat fee, and then they want a record. That's what they want.
If you think about,
so they want instead of one, they could probably do the 121, but they want the 117 and 4 to get over the 116.
Yeah, it's not about being all in one. What they want is they want the fee as a flat fee.
Yeah,
no one's going to pay 125 million pound up front. No one's got that. For his Marinakis is not that stupid. What he wants to say is, and Trev did a great video about this earlier. He wants to say to his fan base, I got the biggest fee in the Premier League. And it could be City pay 50% up front and the rest over 3 years. It's not about paying it all in one lump. He doesn't want the add-ons. It's the add-ons he don't want.
He needs to turn around to those fans and said, I sold our most precious asset, our most valuable asset for a record fee, and I wouldn't have sold him if it wasn't for a record fee. And they will all agree, because that's what they want as well. They want the record fee so they can feel bad about losing an incredibly valuable asset that they've got. But they understand the quid pro quo. The thing is, their team are not there yet to be able to compete at the levels that they want, which is, to be challenging for the league title, to be getting a place in Europe, to be having good, deep cup runs. They know their team isn't there yet. and they know that by selling one valuable asset who isn't enough to get them there, they can strengthen that team, which gets them nearer to the goal of being able to compete at the elite levels that they demand. They get it, but they just need a bit of sugar to help the medicine go down. And the sugar that they want is, I got a record fee for him. And they can believe the David versus Goliath myth. Go and watch the video. It's fine. It's all fine. Business is being done by very serious people regarding this transfer, and it will be done.
Well, so you've been in LB shows, enough, and I've been on shows enough around. Everyone wanted to suspend the big money. So why is no one happy with spending the big money? Everyone wanted to. Remember, everyone said we cheap out too much. Now we're spending the money. So what? I don't get again. What is the problem?
Nope, it's not a problem. It's not a problem, mate. It's not a problem. But I just don't want the people saying that we're spending the very, very big money.
But that's what people wanted, Alan. Do you know what the problem is? I'll tell you what it is. No one's going to like this answer, but it's the truth. Is people wanted to spend it on a top player from PSG, Madrid, or Bayern Munich. They didn't want to spend it on someone from Nottingham Forest.
I know. They're not playing FIFA, though.
If we were spending 130 million on Elisa, nobody would be bothered about the price.
I think that's the difference, because goal scorers have always been expensive.
Yeah, disproportionately so.
Yeah. If we were getting, an attacker that was playing on the front foot, creative, flashy, flary, no one's going to complain. I don't think Liverpool fans complained when they went and got Isak because they thought he was going to be this dominant goal scorer. And then when you realize he's not, you're like, oh.
I'm going to disagree with Miami Snoopy there. That's not a good example, though. At least
Ellison Andersinho. If his name was Andersinho, he would have.
At least he's proven over multiple years. City fans wanted us to spend the money to buy him from Palace. He wasn't proven at Palace. Everyone said Eze was better than him.
But he wouldn't have cost 100 at coming.
No, he was costing 65 when everyone else was 50.
Yeah.
So he was still overpriced at the time. Why City didn't go for him?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, maybe 65 it feels overpriced. But overpriced at 65 versus overpriced at 120 is a little bit different.
City can't win.
Well, I think people have to understand that the market has changed, right? The market has changed, and whether you want to blame City for it or not, the market has changed. Again, that 125 used to be two really good players. It's not anymore.
But
everybody's going for 100 nowadays.
Everyone's 100 now, Miami.
Yeah. So what City needs to do, City needs to develop their local players, which gives you your local, your quote unquote English or non-foreign players.
He's on and off every 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know, but so you got to develop, but then you go spend money on the stars from outside of the Premier League, because every Premier League team has money. And so if they don't get 120, they're not doing business. Even
you got the English tax, don't forget as well.
Which is why you have to develop those players internally. You have to build your academy to get you your English players, and then spend your money on the non-English players.
Why?
Because English players are too expensive. Homegrown players are too expensive.
But Snell is 100 million.
Well, I shouldn't have said homegrown. I should say players from the PL, from the Premier League.
This 18-year-old from Lille, they want 60 to 80 million for him. He's 18.
16-year-old from where?
The 18-year-old. They want nearly 80 million.
Oh, the guy that was in the game today. Yeah.
So I disagree with it's English, because I don't. When an 18-year-old from Lille is going for they want 80 million quid, that's just as crazy, is it not?
It is. It is.
Well, he's been prominent. He's been prominent in Lille's team this season. So, and he's shown that same performance like what he did for Morocco against Brazil. He did the same for Lille.
But again, 80 versus 120, that's still 45 million pounds difference.
Yeah, because one's 23, one's 18.
But I had this.
If you're good enough, you're old enough.
I talked to Magnus about this before, and he put the point across about like having like going for players when they have that step. Like the ones I always think of in recent years are Paquetá and Bruno Guimaraes when they're at Lyon. Like if we got them when they were at Lyon, and we got those two as backups at sorts, we'd be in a lot better place than we are right now in midfield. So we'd only need to get Elliot Anderson, and then we're fine for midfield. But we're not, because of some costly errors that happened in the past. It's those fine margins, and maybe that's what we need to do. Like remember that we get those players and they develop, and then in time become those class players, and we'll be fine for the next 4, 5, 6 years.
It's a really difficult one though, because the transfer market is skewed. Without doubt, there's not as many quality midfield players. The lad from Morocco, who's actually French, looks a good prospect. He's worth looking at, I think, moving forward. If we don't get Anderson, if something doesn't work out with Anderson and he goes somewhere else, then because at the moment there's a lot of names floating around, because a deal to done for Anderson is not going to be done till the World Cup's finished. I'm sorry, it's not. So this is
Martin,
going to go
do you
on.
have any conflicting evidence or information?
Yeah.
No. So is it going to be done before the World Cup is done?
It'll be done before the World Cup, before the end of the World Cup.
Because Forest want players, and they're already window shopping. If you keep an eye on
they're already shopping for their players. They're looking at
keep an eye on their social media. There's one Forest YouTuber who I despise, so I hate watch his content.
Big up Wolfer.
I was going to say the only one I know is Wolfie.
Wanker, absolute wanker. Refers to our money as dirty money on every show. What a wanker!
What's wrong with?
Money.
I get
money. I'll tell you what, mate. You'll be stuffing it in your pocket like it's clean money when it comes in. So do one.
Alan, they haven't got
our club 115. Hence, I will never call their club Nottingham Forest ever again in my life.
Yeah, they haven't.
I know they hate being called Notts Forest, and that's who they are in my brain forever.
There is a plan, Alan. If it gets done, the first part of his medical will be done out in America.
Okay,
that's already.
Let's hope it gets done.
It may drag on. I'll tell you this: the bid's actually in. The third bid is in. It's with Forest. It hasn't officially been accepted. The City were never walking away from this. They were not
do you think we need another midfielder apart from this one?
They do want another midfielder, but that will only happen if two midfielders leave. Then we'll go and buy another one. But the one they want is about to go off the market if they're not careful. So we'll see.
Well, Tonali.
Yeah. They are also
bad players.
They are looking at Diamandi, but they're not going to pay. They don't want to pay anywhere near what Leipzig are asking for him.
And I'm not excited about Tonali.
What about Barkler?
Don't rate him. Barcola. No. Don't rate him. It's just not my kind of player. But the same with Tonali. Not my kind of player.
Who's the other one looking at? They need a playmaker. They definitely need a playmaker.
When we have Phil and Turkey.
Well, Foden needs to get his arse in gear, doesn't he? No, I'm hoping the break does him world of good, to be honest with you. Forget football.
Wow, shot it from out there.
So the market is definitely the market is skewed. The World Cup will bring out some players. definitely.
Question.
In my eyes, we need another centre forward because I think that Mamouche is going to go somewhere. We'll get money.
Is anyone not going? Turn the lights off. The guy at the end who's leaving. We're selling the tea lady as well here.
Luke was saying basically by the start of the season there'd be me, you, and him starting.
Mamouche is not for me.
What did you think of his performance the other day?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, but he just it's very hard to say. It's very hard to know exactly what Maresca's going to do with this side. Are we going to play differently? We don't know. No one really knows. We're just guessing. So he may fit a Maresca system. We don't know. It's very, very. We can only go on what Pep used to do and what's going to happen moving forward. We've no idea. We haven't. And at the moment, Maresca's not signed yet.
What about?
I do want to tell you something about Mamouche, right? And it's not the usual point I make. He left the Bundesliga in January. Okay, yeah. He'd scored 12 goals by the January. The man's a predator. We just haven't worked out how to play him in. And then he left for the AFCON, so he was out of favour. But if we find a way to integrate him into that team as a creator playing behind Haaland, and instead of getting in Haaland's spaces, which is what he's done recently because they've not played together enough, then I think we've got an absolute baller. He's 12 goals in half a season from the midfield. He wasn't the striker. 12 goals in half a season. In the Bundesliga.
So why do we play?
Well, they kind of played a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 or whatever.
So where do we play Foden and where do we play Turkey if that's the case?
Well, we have an embarrassment of riches, and those aren't my decisions. But I suggest that we play them tactically, depending on who the opponent is and what kind of player we think we need in that position, or where the weaknesses in the mid and the defence of certain teams. And if we think that we need two strikers or people who can alternate between the role, then Haaland and Mamouche could be absolutely deadly as long as we learn how to play them together. And we just not had the chance. AFCON was a big, big thing. You know, it robbed players at a busiest time of the season from opportunities to play. And Nuri suffered from that as well. And so we didn't really get to know either of them last season to have a firm opinion about either of them yet.
I don't know. It's very hard to see.
See, I look at it this way, guys. Is when you're looking at building squads and everything else. And I know what you're all saying. Imagine you're Erling Haaland now. Yep. 25, 26.
At the peak of his powers.
Yeah. Has he come here to play with project players, or has he come here to win with top players? Also, don't forget, you are trying to make Rodri sign a contract.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to stay if we don't have that.
Haaland was playing with young kids at the Norwegian club in Dortmund.
Yeah.
We've also got to think at this and got to get a balance. But everyone can be a young kid project player because Erling Haaland wants to win the Champions League. He wants to win the Premier League.
And he's owed a Ballon d'Or.
Champions League. He wants to win the Premier League. Come on, Gvardiol stayed to win trophies, not to wait for 3 years for these players to develop in.
Yeah, I agree with you, Martin. Totally agree.
We've got to get a balance. That's all I'm saying. We've got to get a balance.
Yeah, listen, guys, I've got to go. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers. Later, Trev. Appreciate you joining around.
Smash them likes up.
Appreciate it. Thanks again for coming by.
I like the moves. I feel tight on my moves. That's my issue.
It's a very difficult one. It's a very, very difficult one. Because I think, there's going to be challenges this year. with Maresca. I think it's players having to learn a different way of playing. Maresca hasn't got the pull of Pep. He hasn't. So we have to deal with that as well. We just have to wait and see. We've got to deal with the 115. I hate to say it, but we have to deal with it.
Is that going to be done anytime soon, Martin? Have you heard anything on that?
I hope so. I've had enough of it. I'm done with it.
No, they're all NDA'd up. So when people are saying they've heard stuff, they haven't heard anything.
Yeah. So it's a case of hopefully it'll get dealt with after the World Cup. Hopefully. And just hope that we don't get done. Simple as that.
You see, the thing is to me, I've heard all this before. Remember Gabriel Jesus was going to be the successor to Aguero.
Mm-hmm.
This young Brazilian kid, he's going to be. I've been down this road so many times with all these players. Keiki was going to be the next Brazilian magician through the door. He was going to be the next Neymar, he was called. I don't even, did he even play a game? People forget. We've got that.
Think so.
They're going on about young Norwegian kids. We spent 11 million quid on Nipam. What we doing with him? Sticking him out back.
Yep.
What are you doing with Nipam? My point is, we've already bought all these young lads.
But the issue is, in my opinion, and you said this earlier, is from my perspective. Hold on, sorry. Oh yeah, he kicked that over.
You can tell he's watching the game for the last 10 minutes. He's been eyes off this and into the game.
From my perspective, the issue though is Viana, right? He is accustomed to working in a certain market, dealing with, he's a prospector. He's trying to find that diamond in the rough that he can then flip for more money. Quite honestly, it's the Chelsea model. And
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't want to finish.
For those players that actually go on to become what he thinks they will become, then it's great. But most of them won't go on to become what he thinks they're going to become, because they won't get the playing time that they need with City to be able to do that. They got to go on loan, and then at some point they run out of patience. We're going to see Echeverri. Is he going to be patient enough to go on loan again next year? Because he's not going to be a starter, I don't think, for us. He's definitely not going to be a starter. I don't even think he gets a squad spot.
This is why at the time I was questioning the Victays and the Juma Bar signings. Not because I don't think they're good enough. My question was, and Alan, you were on the channel at the time, I did say this. I said, Louis, you'll remember it. I said, my worry was, these are going to want to play in a year or two. They're not going to sit around forever.
Right.
They're going to want to play. The trouble was, Ruben Diaz was still 27. Gavardio had just been bought. Obviously, Stones and Ake, we thought those two were going to take over Stones and Ake. Then they bring in Gay. Part of the Gay attraction was Ake and Stones were going because they were also homegrown. You bring a homegrown defender in. Because unfortunately, the homegrown thing is a rule within the Premier League. I know people don't like it and they hate it. And I'll give you some other breaking news. James Trafford won't stick around. Sorry, Alan, he's not going to do. He's not going to stick around. He wants to leave. Listen to his quotes.
Okay.
His quotes the other day. If you think those quotes are a man who was staying, he sounded very angry, very frustrated, very pissed off.
Well, he's probably angry because
I'm not surprised.
Asking me this question.
Why, Alan?
It was promised the number one. Then what?
Oh, do you know it was promised?
No.
He probably is angry because he keeps getting asked the same question over and over. Just let the man go be at the World Cup. Stop asking him about City.
Yeah, so
a woman promised you a shag. What are you going to do? I would go at her because you didn't get it at the end of the night. We're playing professional football.
This is the thing. Pep has his favourites, and Ederson was his favourite. He said Ederson is my my number one. So he was going to play Edison. He was going to play Edison throughout the season, no matter what, if he didn't get sold. So we would still be in this situation, and we'd probably be in the moment now where James Trafford would be number one, and we probably get Charles in as number two.
You know what's amazing, Alan? You don't realise this. A lot of rival fans don't rate Trafford. They don't want him.
I'm just looking at the last comment.
Steve, yeah, I see it.
That's the thing, because
they weren't on here earlier, Alan, when you were telling us about the Brazilian fans in Australia that you were at the pub with, so they didn't hear that part.
Seriously, mate, you should have seen these Brazilian dancers in the Imperial. Tremendous.
No, I mean, listen, I was on a Liverpool show, and they were like, I said, would you have Trafford? They went, no, got Alisson. United fans, they were happy with their keep. None of the, I said to Newcastle, would you have him earlier on our brothers? Not at that one. They don't rate him at 45 million.
45 is low, in my opinion. So that's ridiculous.
They all think it's high, Tariq.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I said, why? You know what they've got massive concerns on? He's shot stopping. See, we're the opposite. We put shot stopping lower down than playing out from the back. Everyone else has got shot stopping at a higher reality.
No, I think that makes sense to have shot stopping as the primary focus for a goalkeeper. I think that where I would disagree is that I think that I've seen enough. Lord have mercy. I've seen enough. I just look up. I'm looking over here at the match, and I look back over. On my screen.
How old's Messi?
How old is Messi? Old. I was going to make a joke about the. I was going to make an comment about him.
He's going M for M with Lewis right now, basically.
So basically, he's nearly 40. Bloody hell, what's he doing at the World Cup? Shouldn't he be in some retirement home somewhere enjoying himself?
I was going to ask that. Is there a point in time where Messi just needs to go home? Is he ever going to be washed up?
Not when he's scored. Listen, I agree with you what you said. If you are old, if you're good enough, you're old enough, and if you're good enough, you're young enough. I get all that. I just want a balance. But do you know what it is? And I put a list out. I wrote it down. Where is it? Here it is. Kovacic potentially leaving. Ake potentially leaving. Rodri potentially leaving. Bernardo's gone. Stones has gone. And we're talking about Diaz. That is 5 or 6 of our winners gone. That is huge. That is, and Pep's gone as well.
Should have went with that.
That's Jesus Christ. That is a. I mean,
which I don't think is why. Which is why I don't think it'll actually. All those players will leave. I do think some of them will leave, but I don't know that all of them will leave. And I think part of it is because we've already bought replacements earlier in the year. We bought a Gahey. We bought a Semenyo. Some of those players are kind of, like you said, those replacements for other players that are in the lineup. But it is halftime in Kansas City, I believe, is where they're playing.
Is Kansas still got tornado warnings, by the way?
Well, they're playing, so I'm assuming not. I think it probably passed through because they're my direction. So we're quite a few hours away.
That's where England are playing, isn't it? Kansas.
They're playing in Dallas.
I'll say they're not playing in Kansas. I don't think.
Yeah, they're playing in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so 1-0 at the break. Messi and Argentina with the lead. Both teams had the ball in the back of the pitch, but goals were chalked off for offside. And then Messi went and did Messi things. So I imagine that it's actually closer than I thought. And, you guys did a really good job about talking about how good Algeria was going to be. They've given Argentina enough to think about. It's not, consistent all match, but it's not all been Argentina's way. So good match so far. Martin, we're gonna get off of here because I need to eat, and it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and I haven't eaten yet. But anything else that you want to share? Any other breaking news you want to give to the people before we get out of here?
I think what went through today. I've done the Diamante bet, and I've done Diamante.
Yeah.
You said that we won't pay that amount of money.
Yeah, they don't want to pay anywhere near that amount.
He's probably going to go to Liverpool, I'm guessing.
At the moment, no one wants to pay that amount. They all think it's extortionate.
He looked good the other night, though.
What about his teammate? At Leipzig, who plays for Norway, Nusa.
No,
because I really like him. He's such a good player.
The trouble is, and me and Tom were joking about it the other day. There's over 80 players on this list. We're not going to buy 80 players. I'd keep an eye on the Pierce Charles one.
That's the replacement for
if Trafford goes.
Yeah.
But again, you need a buyer. The thing is, we need a manager that's been still held up by Chelsea legality team at the minute. Which
how much are they asking for? Just
at the moment, they want around 15 million.
15? Man, they better take 2.5 and be on their way.
The trouble is, we kind of have tapped him up because Maresca's party came out and admitted that we had a meeting with him. So Maresca really should come out of Maresca's pocket, not ours.
Well, is it City that have talked to him or intermediaries?
It was. Yeah, they were.
You got to have intermediaries do it.
They have brought the rules there.
They tapped. This was all in place. I can say it now because it's happened. This was all in place from December. You'll see it in a documentary. And there was
that's going to be in the documentary.
Player who knew from the get-go, and it was only one player told that he was leaving.
Bernardo. Yeah. How did I know?
You know, when Bernardo announced he was leaving, he knew then Pep was going.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Bernardo was the one he told that I'm going. And the guy who released it all to the press was you see the scruffy guy with the long hair? I can't remember his bloody name. The scruffy guy with the long hair was one of his fitness coaches, had a bit of a schedule.
Yeah.
He was the one who leaked it to some of the local press, but he told them all off the record. So this was all ready to go. It was talked about in December because he mentioned it. He was going to leave at the end of last season. It's not last season, the season before, but because we finished third and we were in a bit of a bad place, he said he would do the final year. He would sign a 2-year, but it would be to go out on the first year if he got things back.
Yeah.
So he stuck to his word and he's gone and he's having lots of fun with his wife again. You've noticed he's back with her now and happy families, and he's talking Barcelona and he's talking we, and he's having a great time talking we when he's talking about Barcelona all of a sudden. And we'll see. Even though he is still employed by City, he's a club ambassador or whatever it is, global ambassador for the CFG. So we'll see. We'll just listen. It's going to be a new era. I'm excited for it, but I want to get through this transfer window's been open for 2 days officially, and I'm already bored of it. I'm bored of it.
Fair.
And I don't get bored of transfers, and I'm now bored.
Fair enough. We are about to get off of here. I have one question. I see Clarence Seedorf as one of the announcers on the Fox stream here in the U.S. Tell me about him. He was at AC Milan, if I'm correct, right? Is that right? What was he like? What was he like as a player?
Wonderful.
Is there a analogy for him in today's game? Like, who would you compare his game to? Was he a destroyer? Was he like more of a? Was he a mid? I think he's a midfielder, right? Is that right?
Yeah. He was a bit of both, a bit of an eight. He was a bit of a creator, a bit of a. He was a little bit of everything. He was that good.
Okay.
I used to call him. And so I'm going to show me. You may not remember this. I know Alan. Louis, sure you will, because you're old enough for this. the younger Rude Hullet.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Because there was him and Edgar Davids.
I couldn't remember his days.
I know the name Edgar Davids, Netherlands player, but I didn't obviously see anything from him.
I saw. He nearly signed for City.
Who?
Edgar Davids nearly signed for Manchester.
Oh, he nearly signed for City. Interesting.
Yeah, he played for Real Madrid as well. By the way, Clarence Seedorf.
Yeah, he was part of the famous Ajax team in '95. Yeah, and then he went to Real Madrid. I don't remember those times, but I remember him at AC Milan.
Wow. Talk about a guest. Hold on. Talk about a guest. Scarf Boy.
I can't really hear you very well, but I'm coming to you live from Arrowhead. Sorry if I'm fucking screaming, but Messi won, Algeria 0. Thanks for letting me be on the show. I'll go back to being quiet, but see you when I get home.
That's awesome. That is awesome. We got a guest appearance, Scarf Boy guest appearance from Kansas City, the Arrowhead Stadium, which is where this match is happening. So
I'll tell you this, by the way, Clarence Seedorf, 135 goals, 136 assists in 891 games.
He started at Ajax. He started at Ajax.
Which is where Edgar Davids was too, right? Wasn't he Ajax too?
He started at Ajax in a wonderful side Ajax had, and he went to Sampdoria. So he's a very good player. He was very, very good.
And he's won 5 Champions Leagues, 1 Spanish league, 2 Italian leagues, 2 Super Cups, a FIFA Club World Cup, and everything else in between.
It's crazy. Okay. It's crazy when you talk about the stats. Like one of the greatest number 9s that we've talked about ever in Ronaldo, R9, has never won the Champions League.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. Like,
and Edgar Davids wore shades because he had an eye condition.
Yeah.
I saw him on something again.
I remember him in the FIFA foot. Like, this is my age. Like, even though I'm like only in my 30s, the FIFA football game back in the day.
Clarence Seedorf is Yaya Toure.
More skillful. I'd say he was more skillful than Yaya.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He was like, I'm telling you, he was a bit of everyone, really. He was like a proper number 8. He was a bit of everyone. He had skills. He could tackle. He could score goals. He was a.
So what happened to the Dutch, to the Netherlands squad? Because they, and again, maybe it's just the money that's turned it so much, but you don't see them dominating like they may still go on. They will probably advance to the next round, of course. But do you put them as a contender to actually win the World Cup?
Yeah.
No. If I'm honest with you, people are where I'm at. You remember I said last week, I thought a lot of the European teams would struggle, and they kind of have.
Did you say that because of the heat?
Yeah, I said it'd take time for them to acclimatise up.
Yeah,
I think a lot of them have. England, Croatia will be the weirdest one because that's 2 European teams going at it, which you're not going to get a lot of.
What's going on, Governor? We're going to get off here in a minute, but I wanted to bring you on because you took the time to come on. So appreciate it. Anything you wanted to say?
Get rid of him.
No,
I think Holland is standing outside chance of getting to the final. You know, an outside chance.
No chance. No chance.
Yeah. No chance.
Yeah.
You never know with Holland. You never know.
What's going on, Governor? Anything you wanted to say?
Oh, good. No, I've been listening. Great show. No, I've been listening. So everyone's making everyone's got their own opinions, but no, it's been a good show.
Are you watching this World Cup?
I am when I can. Yeah, it's good times over here.
What
as Alan would know.
Yeah. What do you think Netherlands has a chance to actually win the World Cup?
No.
Can they be top 4?
No,
France,
I don't think we can. Nah.
Say France, Spain, Germany.
I think you might get a surprise.
Argentina.
You've got the usual ones in there. The Argies, England, Spain, France. You've got the usual. Germany are not always there and thereabouts anyway. But you might get a surprise in there, Don't know.
What about Portugal?
I don't know. It's an aging side, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected more from Belgium too.
Belgium have always been a great side, but never get there.
Yeah.
Same as England.
All right, everyone. We are pushing up on this 3-hour mark, which these seem
Are you going to win on Friday, Tariq?
We are going to stomp the Aussies. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I do think we win, but I'm gonna reach out to Pat and see if he wants to do
He's in Canada.
Is he?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll see if he wants to do.
He's gone back on milk cartons. He came back to the channel for about 3 days and pissed back off from milk cartons ago.
Yeah, I think actually I don't know, to be completely fair. I don't know, but I just said it because I'm supposed to say it. But they look good on the counter. It depends on what. If the U.S. is as good as they looked, then we'll win. But I don't know if they're really that good or if it was just.
If America score first, their plan goes out the window. Because
I am looking forward to Uzbekistan, Colombia. That's the one I am intrigued at.
Yeah.
Portugal as well. I've always said all along, I don't know why. I said Spain would win it or France, but they've both been shit. So
I'm gonna reach out to Pat if you see him, talk to him. I'll reach out to him on WhatsApp to see if he wants to do a watch along on Friday. I am off on Friday, so I will be watching. On
yours, I was
wherever. Doesn't really matter.
I can set it up, whatever. I won't be on.
Share
because when I watch paint dry, might be more fun. I'll let you two go at it for a
You watched the friendly when we played. You won't watch the World Cup.
And that was bad enough, Tariq.
That was a friendly.
Martin,
at least watch the World Cup version.
Martin, you're not gonna know about these World Cup Wonder Kids, then, are you? If you're not watching it, hey, these Wonder Kids that come out of it.
All right, we hit the 3-hour mark. We're over it. I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks again for being here, as always.
Cement was shit.
We will see you. We'll see you next week, same time. Oh, well, I won't say same time. We'll be back. We should be back our normal schedule.
I'm not here next week. I'm having a week off.
But thanks, everybody.
My ITK's having a week off. Do you want me to get you a pre-recorded video for while I'm away?
Yes. You gotta get on your Fabrizio Romano video, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we're out of here.